Boop. Did I make it? Am I on time? Yeah, it's 12 o'clock. Look at that. You're almost late. Did someone just say I was... They just know. Okay, is almost late like an aircraft near miss? Oh, look, we haven't done the thing. Okay, the camera... You know what? We're just going to switch to that one so that I can take the menu off. I can't take the menu off. I can't see it. There we go. Clean. Of course. I guess that classifies as almost late. I managed to forget something. I did see a comment where somebody asked, when is the fall clock change? It's in like November. Like, they keep extending it out farther and farther and farther. If memory serves, it is 8 months of daylight savings time and 4 months of regular. Just stop. Just at this point, just give us one time and let us stay on that time. Beyond that, Florida voted for it in 2012 to just stay on daylight savings time year round. It's Florida. And California voted for it in like 2020 and it passed, but it has to be like approved by Congress. And either that never happens or it just takes an eternity to happen because Florida's been waiting for it for 12 years. That's the speed of government, I guess. I guess that's how government works. And here's what I need people to know. Okay, let's see if we can fall down let's see if we can fall down a bottomless hole together. Is it this one? Okay. So there it is. There it is. Ah, whoa, it looks better when you go like this. Okay. So I can see everything, right? Right? So I know, oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I know people are trying to be helpful and say your on-screen settings are on. Yeah, I can see it. It's right. It's literally right there. It's right there. It's pretty big too. Do I wish it was a bigger monitor? Sure. Could I fit one? No. Would I buy a bigger monitor to replace that one? Also no. That monitor is at 27, and I feel like I'm living too luxuriously anyway. If I can kick us off with a question, how do you calculate the distance required to convert a straight link into a bent link? All right. The only way I can think to explain it is to just show it. So, you do it as you do it in the dumbest way possible. Let's say, okay. So we'll use this ruler because hold on. Is this better on 3? Okay. So we'll use this roller. So roll. Wait, no, he's too reflective. We got to use Victor. Okay. So say we need a link that is. Sorry, Susan, you got to move here for a minute. You need a link that is, let's pick a nice even number. Let's say it is 120 millimeters eye to eye. So you lay it out like that. So then I use a second measuring implement. You can have 2 methods. You go like this. That is about just under 80, but because these are the TRX4 style, the link actually goes into them a little bit. So we would need an 80, but I mean an 80 and an 85 would get there. So someone is asking the question, RC Family is asking, how do I know how long the offset link needs to be? I do it, as mentioned, in the dumbest way possible, which is I dig through the drawer to find an offset link of an approximate length, and we'll grab our straight link bin. So it goes something like this. Now, these aren't exactly the same size. They're not the size we need. But we would line this up and we would say, okay, that's the length that it needs to be. Then I would take the high clearance link and I would lay it down onto the top of it and I would find the one that both of the shoulders line up. And that's how I do it. Like, if you're asking, how do you do it if you're buying them and you can't see them? I don't know. Because no 2 manufacturers seems to have the same approach. All right, like, here's a link with the ends installed. Element measures these from the outside to the outside, which is insane. Some of them measure it from eye to eye. Some of them measure it from end of thread to end of thread. Typically, when I measure these, I measure them from what I call shoulder to shoulder. So I would call this link, I would go like this, and I would measure onto the end. Was this a 95? That's a 95 millimeter link. Overall, it is 115. but it's not. We need to know the shoulder part that your rod end butts up against. So yeah, I just measure one link up against another, because I guess because I can. But if I'm buying them off of the internet, I'm doing the same thing that you are, which is guessing or buying cheap $16 RC Lions link sets for SCX-10-2 off of Amazon and just mixing and matching, because those sets come with like 10 high clearance links, and except in some instances, there's rarely a need to run high clearance uppers. Only high clearance uppers if you're trying to clear a drive shaft, or if the links themselves are trying to impact with one another. When I'm putting a link set together, I'm typically looking for high clearance lowers and just straight uppers. And in the front, you can usually get away with straight lowers as well. Rear lowers are really the only place that we're generally looking at high clearance links all the time. All right. I'd like to complain the tire tests are biased and free. I mean, I do my best. I got to question everything. Where am I? I don't even know where I am. Damn feds, and we voted 4 times for it. There you go. Arizona has never done daylight savings. Has Arizona never done daylight savings, or am I the same time as you right now? Are you never on daylight savings, or are you always on daylight savings? That's the question. In Arizona, is it noon or is it 11 a.m.? Yeah, because we would fall back. Help, I am withdrawing. Eye to eye. Eye to eye is the only way to measure. He's asking for making double bend links himself. Oh, okay. All right. If I am going to make my own double bend link, here's how I do it. I think I might have mentioned it in one of the videos where I talked about links, but I might not have. So in every link, you have your bend. So what I will do is I will thread one end. Then I will pick an approximate point where I want it to bend. I will bend it. So now I can install this rod end on, and then I will have a big long piece coming off with no threads. I will loosely mock it into the vehicle, and with the extra, like how you're doing a cut to length drive shaft, I will put the other rod end in place on the chassis, and I will just make 2 pen marks. Like, this is where it needs to be cut, and this is where the threads need to stop. When I'm making super bespoke links, the super bespoke links are going to be super bespoke. They're pretty much only going to fit that vehicle. That's how I made the links for Ghost Rover. That's how I made the links for Jolly Green. They were made one at a time. Well, in pairs, like this set of lowers, and I just move forward. As I've said, I don't do things production anymore. When I'm making something, I'm making one of that thing, usually. For Hardcore RC custom links, he says to add 1 millimeter for each bend allowance. There you go. I'm going to keep doing it my dumb one at a time way. In which, in most cases, if the axle is set and I'm replacing a straight link with a high clearance link, I don't even measure it. I just make it to fit. Bend 1, place 2 marks, bend 5 degrees at a time, measure shrinkage. There's that as well. Always mountain standard. I'm the same as you right now. Yeah. So you're perpetually on daylight savings time in Arizona. Anyone else run their high clearance links on the VRD backwards? Any noticeable difference on which is better? That's a question that comes up a lot. Which direction do you run high clearance links? And this is my theory on it. I always tend to have the long part of it at the skid and the narrow part at the axle. And you'll notice straights on the front here. Because my idea is that you want to get this to break over and slide on this. And by the time you get up to that part, the wheels are going to get you over. If this pops up high and then goes down, you have this opportunity to drop your links into that, like a rock, drop it into that notch in the link and then get stuck. I don't know. That's all theoretical. But with double bends, I don't know. We've got I think there's 2 vehicles in the whole building that are on double bends. It's 12:07 here in Arizona. Yeah. Pipe cleaner or old-timey coat hanger as analogs. That'll work. What would also work, Oh man, this is a ridiculously deep cut. You can, if you go to the right place, you can buy the, I guess you would call them wire. I'll just grab one. I thought about taking one of the cameras and seeing if it would operate wirelessly, and then I forgot. Here you go. So, if you're looking for something to make analogs, I don't know, maybe you can find these somewhere. I don't know. I've had them for forever. This is a piece of wire. You notice how it has a little like bow to it? These come in a huge package, and they hold insulation up. These are insulation holders. So when the bat of insulation goes in, they stuff this up against one joist or rafter and this up against another, and it holds the insulation up. It's like, I don't know. What gauge is that? I don't know. All I know is it's 2.3 millimeter. What is that in freedom? 0.090. These are 090 wire. I have had a box of them for 30 years, and I just use them for stuff like that. Yeah, and they're all like that. I don't bend them; they come bent like that. But just find those, and then you are wire coat hangers still a thing? You can just cut up a coat hanger. There's a lot of wire that you could use as an analog for building a link, or just fly by the seat of your proverbial pants and make a bend. Sometimes it helps to bend two at the same time. Then when they get closer to the same length. That's the thing that for me is still the hardest, is getting both of them to bend in the exact same point. It's always fun. Arizona is not in daylight. I believe it's against federal rules. How is that heard? Yeah, they don't call it daylight savings time. They're just on the same time as us. Yeah, their normal time is our daylight savings time. And they don't fall back like we do. So that's the way California should do it as well. When California, because we're far enough south, when we fall off of daylight savings time in November, they've moved it back to November. Like the sun will be going down at like 5, and then the next day the sun goes down at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But the sun also comes up at like 5:15 in the morning. So they're just moving. Not a lot of people in California are relying on sun at 5:15 in the morning. My first build has 8 high clearance. Yeah, it's not a problem. Like, unless they're hitting each other. And I have had instances where high clearance links hit each other when it's doubled up high clearance. I had the Crawler Canyon tested FMS Jimny with me today. It lasted roughly 2 minutes before the stock servo went nuts and chewed itself up. They only put the best electronics in all those FMS, only the finest. TIG welding rods. Yeah, there's another one. No more wire hangers ever. I feel like I've heard that somewhere before. Paper and a pencil? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If you're writing it down, then there's a paper trail, and people will have a record of how you messed up. If you just start making your links blind and just bending them, and then somebody says, so how long did your link come out, like total length or eye to eye? You go, I don't know. That way nobody can steal your stuff. Just don't do too high of a clearance at a 4 millimeter looking at you, Vanquish. Yeah, you can almost bend those back. You can just bend them back straight. Both have the bend at the axle on the front and the rear lower, but the uppers and the rear I have the bend towards the chassis. Yeah, when I'm doing high clearance, I do it, I think did we turn the water on?
Is one cool or no?
That is definitely blowing hot air. Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, I forget things all the time. There's a thing that I forgot. I forgot to turn on the water to the swamp cooler. So it was getting rapidly hotter in here. Now where was I? Well, 10 grand more wire hangers, pair of hands. Don't write things down. We got lots of free wire hangers from our uniform company. You're set. Both 10 have been okay. I got to there. High clearance. Daylight savings in Phoenix would basically make it hotter all day long. Yes. Proper engineering drawings are made on a napkin with a crayon. If I could find my whiteboard, which I managed to lose inside my own, there it is. Yeah. When I was trying to figure out gearing, and there is still, from when I was having people guess, like that doesn't come off anymore. When I was trying to make people guess how big the canyon is, that's as close as I get to writing things down. Any woodworker can tell you that you grab a scrap piece of wood, and if you're writing anything down, you write it down on that scrap piece of wood, and you don't save it because you don't want to be able to reproduce things. How about tapered lines? I don't know what that is. Tapered links. Oh, okay. You mean like how Axial does this? It's stupid. It's stupid. Like, look. That's what rocks are doing. I try not to use these. Also, that's not the dumbest part about an axial link. The taper at the end is dumb. It being a turnbuckle is nice. But for a turnbuckle, putting a hole through it, gee, when these bend, I wonder where it's going to bend. That's a rhetorical wondering, because I know exactly where those are going to bend. I've thrown away half a dozen of them because they bend right where that hole is. If you take a pipe and drill a big hole in it, you might make the pipe weaker where the big hole is. The temperature here, it is close to 100 degrees. Out on the canyon, it's probably 100 degrees. The YouTube way seems to be a pizza box and a Sharpie. Yeah, that'll work. I always thought daylight savings was for little kids going to school. That would be great, except when we transfer over, when we switch to daylight savings time in the spring, everybody drives to work and drives their kids to school in the dark. So, and then when it comes off and we go on back on regular time, everybody picks their kids up in the dark. Tapered in the middle. Why would you? How do you at someone with a space in their name? I think it's underscores. Have you tried the Revit RC AM32 Outrunner setup? Just ordered one. I have never heard of it. The RPM JADO links are hex-shaped. RPM ends are also hex-shaped. I think they're 7mm. It's 12 degrees in London, which is a meaningless number. That's not possible. You'd all be freezing. Yeah, the time warp is a farmer thing, but like farmers use GPS now. Like a big commercial farm has, I don't know, I'm not a farmer, but I would guess a tenth the employees that a big farm had even 50 years ago. It's all big combines and stuff that are steered by GPS. I mean, small farms, I guess, but how much of a farmer's work, it relies on the sun? I mean, like, that's 2 AA batteries. I mean, we've got technology now. Just leave the clocks alone. AMK double CVD axles. Set screw 90 degrees from 2mm pin and joint. Tighten it down out of the box or the pin spits it out. Don't just tighten it down. Thread lock it and tighten it down. The Revit RC combo is all over AliExpress at the moment. I don't spend nearly as much time on AliExpress as a lot of folks do. I can guarantee it, because I just ordered... God, what did I order? I think I ordered an ESC because I was like, I'm here. And it only took 11 days to get it. I could have spent $15 extra and had it here in the same day. So when stuff comes on AliExpress, I just wait for it to show up on Amazon. And now that the ships aren't moving or not being unloaded, I guess they're moving, just not being unloaded, our time to get stuff is going to start to get really gross. What would be a good, cheap servo for steering on a Capra axle build? I would say the Nouveau Amazon Blue Case should be in everybody's budget. The 45 kg Amazon Blue case. They call it the... I haven't filmed the episode on this yet, so bear with me. Things keep getting ahead of me. The 3245, the DS3245 SG. It looks just like the regular 35 kg Amazon Blue case. It is what I believe to be what we used to call they called it the Pro. They called it the 35 kg Pro, but it made about 45 kg. The draw, it looks high on the tester, but doesn't seem to bother anything. Even an SE, which has a 3 amp BEC, it seems to work just fine. And they're $40. They're not super fast. They're quiet. They're inexpensive. They're under $40. If you plan on spending over $40, just buy a Flash Hobby. Just got home from work. What are we doing today? So far, just rambling. Did you get to testing the 2.2 Injura silicone inserts? Afternoon, everyone. First time catching a live stream. Hey, wait, the strike is over already? Oh, they fixed the dock worker problem by throwing money at it. America! Why no track for the Go Fast at the Canyon? Seems fun. Okay. All right, hold on. I gotta open my photo album. All right. If you've never built yourself a track at your house, let me tell you about how much work is involved in upkeeping that thing. And it is a horrific amount, is what it is. So, all right. We'll do these one at a time. I don't know what the best camera to show these on. It's going to be the low boy. It's going to be the low boy, which is, I think, 2. Okay. So, that is where the Canyon stands now. You can see where Deadline is. Deadline is where this little kicker jump was. This is standing on top of the driver's stand. Over here where this section, that's Leviathan now, over there. If I tried to explain to you how much upkeep was involved in making that, I would not be able to express it adequately. So that is what the track looked like in its heyday. This is what the track would look like. And I love that I got this picture almost in the exact same spot. This is what the track would look like if you didn't upkeep it for 1 month. This would be like 30 days. It would immediately try to return to the earth. And weeding that and correcting it and rebuilding the jumps and getting it back to where it was drivable would take the better part of a week. It was basically like constant upkeep. And then, for pure bonus, this is what it would look like when it rained. I feel like it looks like I was taking all of these things at the same time because I really got my placement down. It would just completely fill with water, and it would be 4 inches deep with water. And then after the water soaked in, you couldn't drive on it for about 5 days unless you wanted to turn your entire rig into a meatball. And then, fast forward to shortly later, and all of that work, 3+ years of work putting that together, we undid with a bobcat in about 5 hours. And you see why I had the cheat code to build Leviathan? We just pushed all those jumps over to the edge of the property, and then we just put rocks on top of it, and we built Leviathan out of it. So that's where that went. So if anybody says, why is there no Go Fast track? I mean, that's why. And then I think I have a same position, but as the Canyon. No, maybe I don't. Maybe I do not. I have some sweet panoramas, though. But I think that the death of it was the death of it. Yeah, it was a good time while it lasted. But it cannot be managed by even 2 people. Also, let me add to the top of that. A buddy of mine has a little track at his house, and it's about a quarter the size of what I had, maybe a little smaller than that, maybe 20% the size. It's great. I have to do 0 upkeep. I just drive over to his house. I can drive on it. It's awesome. But the middle of the canyon, the unoccupied area of the canyon, is supposed to be a pond in the future, like a big old pond, like a pond you can go in as a person. So that's the goal there. So no go fasts for me. Ooh, he's not wrong. American-made products don't get stuck on cargo ships. That is true. Your package is en route to a local post office. Is only open until 1 p.m. on a Friday. That's awesome. Yours is still sitting right over here because I forgot to go to the post office again. So people all over the planet are building a Revolt chassis. I'm excited and curious how they turn out. How about yours? Mine is in this drawer right down here with the axles to it. The 3D printer is being cooperative. The last thing it spit out was this. I can't even believe that I printed it myself. Look at that. Look how nice that came out. And then the guide that I was given was, I was going to take it to a guy and give it to him at Proline by the Fire, and then I forgot. So it's here with me again. And when I see him again in like a year, that part will still be sitting there, and I will give it to him. Oh, so to Team Revolt, it came from the workbench 46 is ongoing. It came from the workbench 47 is right here under the bench. It came from the workbench 48, has all the parts in one of the map drawers over there. It came from the workbench 49 is this. And it came from the workbench 50 because we had to make it a special one. It came from the workbench 50 is the Revolt chassis with the Mias offset Capra axles. And I think I have a body picked out for it. I don't know 100% on tire. We're gonna take it as we go. Oh, that was the thing. I keep mentioning it in like videos. For those who haven't, so there's the there's what we're working with. That's the tire rack. It's pretty full right now. That's what I'm dealing with. So when I rush out and buy tires for a new build, I'm like, what am I doing? But I can't help it. The BMX guys cover all their dune jumps with carpet when they aren't there. Yep, that'll work. But the problem is, if you've ever tried to maintain one yourself, the act of vehicles going off the jumps just wears the lip off. And the hardest part of rebuilding on the jump is the lip. So it was just constant maintenance. And you know what? There's nearly no maintenance back there. I have to go weed and trim trees, and that's about it. And there's a lot less weeds. Will the pond get a ferry boat? The pond is getting at the very bare minimum, a tugboat. Like, for sure. I'm going to get that tugboat. I don't care what the reviews on the internet say, because most of those people appear to be dumbos. I will get a tugboat. Even rocks are tough to upkeep if you have rodents and black widows or brown recluse. The place I go to now has snakes. I've got crickets, which you've seen at nighttime, lizards, and sometimes black widows. But the Inferno 500,000 BTU propane torch, you use that thing once a month or so, the black widow problem diminishes radically. They're trying to move into my bin shed now where all the holiday bins are stored. Okay, it says forward motor mount, but what am I missing? Did he say something before forward motor mount? Yeah, a running track would be great. Anything somebody else is upkeeping is great. I got one of those for the temper to cover the ESC would be cool. Got one of what? One of what? What did I miss? Did we spot number 46 in the background? Does the body fit now? Well, you're all here. That video is Sunday. But you know, here's there has to be a bonus for the live stream, right? So here's how the ghost ride went. Look at that. The suspension needs rebuilt badly. That's about how it normally sits. But yeah, I got that thing. I got that thing done. Have you done anything regarding the Trax monster? I have the axles, the tracks, I think I've selected the chassis. I have probably 40% of the tracks build, but I really haven't come to a conclusion as to what the power plant needs to be, because those tracks seem to need a lot of wheel speed just to keep them moving. Oh, I spent the last 2 days working on my new small-scale crawler course, shifted about 4 tons of dirt and 2 tons of rocks. Yes. You must have spent ages course building. I kind of look at it obstacle by obstacle, and I think that Leviathan, which was fairly simple, and like I said, was kind of cheating because there was already dirt there. Leviathan took about 3 weeks to build that one obstacle. And when I say 3 weeks, I mean like every day, 7 days a week. Let's be realistic, say 4 to 6 hours a day. So let's round that to 5. Call it 100 hours to build Leviathan. I would say I built Anomaly in probably 2 weeks. I had a better selection of material. And that's how it works. It's like how the stuff comes in determines the speed at which things are going to be built. So some obstacles get built not more quickly, but more condensed in time. I think every obstacle takes about the same, that about 100 hours into an obstacle. But I managed to build like Mount Tumbledore very quickly because I decided to record it. But I would have the camera out on a tripod, bring it out, record, work, boom, boom, boom. And I was doing 10-hour days for about 4 days. So it was only about 40 hours to build Tumbledore, but it was a lot. In the grand scheme of things, it's very small compared to Oblivion, Anomaly, Leviathan, anything big. Hannah Montana took probably 2 months of regular work to get that one to where it is now. Mr. Wirt likes all the It Came from the Workbench, but is especially looking forward to number 49. I want to see if this thing lowers itself down right in front of the camera. Who doesn't like arachnids? Who doesn't like them? Where is he? There he is. It's not going to focus on him, though. Where you going, bud? Where you going, guy? Those guys do not work hard enough. I have so many of them in here, and honestly, they don't do anything. They just get in the... Well, I mean, they eat some bugs, but they just mostly just taking up space. Sem Frontera or 22S Tusk LP. I am waiting. I am holding out hope for 22 Megalithics. Well, it's on the White Rovers, and I refoamed them. They do mount a lot easier when refoamed, and inspired the opposite of these guys. So the opposite of the Scoric Clings, which reshape your ruptures into being square and not having round shoulders. I went for the opposite, and I made my Rovers taller and skinnier. It worked pretty well. There's a lot that still needs to be done, but I mean, we'll get there. We'll get there. I don't know if you can tell the body might have been, but none over there. There's a lot of questions. So there's a lot of questions. We'll take that out of the way. So, as per usual, like last week, all I did was clean Argenum. I spent 3 hours. Oh, it was another couple hours after that to get him put back together. All I have to do today is the servo, so I'm in no hurry. Everybody knows, well, a select group know exactly where this servo is going. The coupe looks like something ZZ Top would have. Yeah, absolutely. I got about 25 by 9 for a main course area, hole through fence to lower half of garden to extend it later. That's awesome. That's awesome. Because then you get that first half done, and then people are like, oh, you know what? This is pretty nice. And then you drive through that hole, and then they come around there and they're like, what? Some of my favorite thing is the reaction of people that don't know what they're getting into. Except for Zoku, who was the only person that walked out to the back the first time he was ever here, and he said, huh, I thought it would be bigger. But he didn't have to move all those rocks, so maybe he sees it differently than I do. 25 by 9 is honestly probably a perfect amount of space. What I have is absurd. I'm printing some inserts for the Tusk 525s. Can't wait to try them out. Sharp Dresser is now the name of that rig. I don't know. I don't know what the name of that rig is. I feel like after it's painted, it's gonna kind of come into its character. Yeah, as long as she doesn't say that. As long as it's not a "that's what she said" moment. He's allowed to say he thought it would be bigger. That's fine. That's fine. He still has not driven here. He has been here a number of times, dropping things off and picking things up, and has still never driven on the course here. I don't know if I should take that personally or not. I don't know how to take that. Or just Z's, short for ZZ Top. We do need another Z rig because we've got Zoidberg, Zobazu, and Zorana, and Zombie. Oh my God, that would be 5 Z's. That would be 5 Z's. I like that they're coming with like a very chrome horn now. I don't use it. I just sorted all my servo horns this morning. It was enthralling. You would have been so excited had you gotten to witness it. Because ordinarily what I do is I just throw all my servo horns into a container and then I dig through them with tweezers for 20 minutes to try to find what I'm looking for. It's very energy efficient. I refuse to accept that the extent of my course is absurd. I mean, who am I to say? I mean, it's never enough. It's always too much and never enough. What the name of the dude that has the same last name as Hank Hill from ZZ Top? Dusty Hill. What tires would you suggest for a 4.5-pound crawler that's going to have to deal with granite slabs, concrete, and mud all winter? Canyon Trail tires not doing well. You would have to get your insert so soft in your Canyon Trail to manage 4.5 pounds. Your problem, I mean, like a pin, some kind of pin, and you're that guy that they're aiming at with tires like this, with the like, look how skinny that comp pin is not mounted. So you put a comp pin on some narrower ring tires and get them down narrow like that. With your 4.5 pounds, your PSI is going to be so low that a lot of tires are just going to be skating across whatever you're trying to drive on. There is a point of diminishing returns in both directions when it comes to weight. And 9 pounds is going to have problems for one reason, and 4.5 pounds is going to have problems for the opposite reason. I would start with these because they're dirt cheap. You can also do the 1.55 Baja Claws. They're really skinny. And the hardest part for you is going to be finding an insert that is both soft enough. You're going to need sidewall support because the sidewall is fairly tall, and you still can smear a sidewall over even at 4.5 pounds. But like the regular foams would probably be pretty close, but if you're running them in winter, in mud and wet, you're going to want something that is not a foam. Cutting up a silicone, maybe, that's going to also improve. I don't know. 4.5 pounds, man. A set of Endura silicones is going to be like 15% of the weight of the vehicle. Yeah, I don't know. I would start with a S4 pin if it tore at me. Quick question: with the HB Rovers, which compound is the softest? I would have said, prior to testing the whites, I would have said it was the pinks. I think what they did with the whites is they did the thing that I've been yelling at every other tire manufacturer to do, which is they made the carcass just that much thinner. Because the same foam that fully fills out a pink doesn't fill out the white. So I think that the compound of the pink is actually softer, but the white tire is compliant enough being thinner that it kind of gets away with it. Because like these have the softest inserts I could put together, and the deflection is Like you have to put next to nothing on it, and they still won't bag because there's no unsprung weight on this rig. I mean, if you look in there, there's just nothing. Look how far I had to lean the rear shocks down, and it still sometimes feels slightly oversprung. It's horribly overdamped. You'll find out about that on Friday. It's I mean on Sunday. There is definitely something in the running footage that looks akin to what does overdamped look like. It looks like that. Wasn't the ZZ Top Car called the Eliminator? It was. Scarlett getting a new servo, I presume. Yep, that's correct. Kuzatat. 4.5 pounds is amazing good work. Like, now if that's 4.5 pounds RTR, that's tough to get to. On my Element Ecto, I feel that my tie rod, drangling, and panhard are too long. What die do I need to make the threads longer, hopefully giving more adjustment? You would need a 4mm die, but odds are you're going to end up having to replace them. The first step is, my recommendation is mess with rod ends, because I don't have any straight ones on hand. But like if you look at an Element rod end, and then you look at like an axial rod end, you can shave that much length off just by swapping rod ends. That's what, 4mm? Maybe 4 or 5mm. Sometimes it's as simple as just changing a rod end, and that's cheaper and easier. Anytime I make any kind of front end change, it's almost inevitable that you end up just the whole thing goes out the window, and now you've replaced all the front end links. Sometimes that's how it do be. Scarlett. That's true. Brorb does have some great inserts for the S4 pins. He really does. Ooh, Z-Liminator is pretty good. Z-Liminator. That's got a nice sound to it. White just flat better and soft enough for any rig. I'm not going to argue with Senor Creations on this one because the whites are $20 cheaper a set. And performance-wise, really close. I still need to run them side by each, but I was blown away by that thing on whites, by Wolverine running on the whites. My rear end sits all the way down on 0.8, but barely moves 1.2. Yeah, well, that is 50% stiffer. Yeah, I get it. I see some send cut, send decals. What has been cut and sent? This was most recent. It came from the Workbench 49. This is a Class 1, future Class 1, for the killer body, for the LC70. What's going to go inside of it, stuff-wise? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't bought that stuff yet. Penny Yellow and call it the chicken coop. Evening all. Hello, Mr. C. Hello, Mr. Jordan. If my memory serves correctly, everybody double shout out for Mr. Jordan. Was it Mr. Jordan? Was it? Has Mr. Jordan been to Spain recently? Am I remembering things correctly? Because if not, I won't continue. But if Mr. Jordan has been to Spain, then my memory isn't too diluted. Did Swampers RC miss much? You could miss most of the whole thing, and I don't know if you would ever miss much. The highlight of these things for me is swerving the questions, because sometimes they're questions I never would have thought of myself. And atop that, if I feel like I can help somebody accomplish something that they're trying to accomplish, then what more could I ask for? I made a hinge. It actually works. He's there now. So it is Mr. Jordan that went to Spain and took Mr. Spain his most desired 2-2 ruptures, because he couldn't afford to buy them from other. I think he said €95 to get a set of 2-2 ruptures into Spain, and I was like, good God. Spanish Castle Magic. Oh, that's right. There's a Ganut. So this was how I did this. I used a thumb Ganut, and then you can lift this whole thing off, which we're going to have to do anyway because we're going to have to unplug the servo. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, don't buy an Eco Power servo for your rock crawler. It will not be sufficiently powerful to make your crawler do the things. Maybe servo on axle, maybe, but that servo got absolutely pummeled into submission by Deadline. The WP120T, which I looked up after I finished edit, and it claims 400 ounces, and I was like, I don't know about that. 400 ounces, 400 OZs should have been enough. Oh, I can reach. Nice. I gotta say, this is the one that's not the Kuwu, right? Isn't there another chassis that's just like this one, but not? There was a chassis that was very remarkably similar to this while being somewhat different, and nothing is popping into my head. Okay, all right. Favorite comment of the day. You guys are going to have to work hard to top it. Brian Massey with that Eco Power servo is fantastic. You're just running the lines wrong. I love that. That is I need to make the SpongeBob hands. The internet. Oh, I love it. It doesn't even have like a winky face on the end of it. So I'm subtextually inserting it in there because that servo got bullied so hard. There's a moment where right around that 26 meter mark where she finally takes her third fall and she doesn't get to go on any farther, where you can see it gets up on it. She gets up on her side and you can see this tire right here just go as the rock just overpowers the servo and just pushes it out of the way. And yeah, it's running off of an SE, which is still pushing 7.4. Yes, still putting 7.4. So it should not have gotten bullied like that, but it did. Yeah, see, I was hoping. I was having a little bit of self-doubt that he wasn't kidding, but I was hoping that he was kidding. Because, yeah, I didn't know what to expect. Oh, man. I don't remember which direction this thing was mounted. I wasn't paying attention when I took it out. I think it was like that. I think it was like that. Are you running the lines on purpose like the tire tests? I do my very best. If I can manage to install bias into a tire test, by gum and by golly, I don't care if I have to run that same line 30 times in order to get that tire to fail it. By golly, I'll do it. For those unaware, there are a couple people that are here for their first time. When I shoot a video, whatever that video might be, I am very economical in my time. So, for those unaware, once again, the footage you're seeing right now is being presented to you by a Canon M50, which is known in Japan as the Kiss. The M50 Kiss is a mirrorless APS-C format camera, and because it is not a video camera, it is a film camera masquerading as a video camera. It can only shoot up to, for those of you who are at the very few minutes at the beginning, you could see up and right here on the screen, it would have said 2959. The longest it can record on any single file is 29 minutes and 59 seconds, and then the camera automatically turns itself, like it stops recording. It doesn't restart, it just stops. So if you're not looking directly at the viewfinder, you might not notice. So when I go out there to film a tire test, they are filmed in 2 tidbits. I go out there and I begin, and I film the first 9 stops on within 29 minutes and 59 seconds. And then when I do the final, the wet obstacle and the outro, that is on a second file. That way I have to do minimum color matching. I have to do minimum camera matching, getting audio synced, all that. So there are a grand total. There's the interior portion shot on this. That is 1 file. So imagine this is your imaginary timeline. File 1, file 2, file 3, and then on top of that is camera 2, file 3, file 4, and file 5. That's it. There are 5 files. No retakes, no edits. I've had a couple people that have been here present and watched me record an episode, and they're like, I had no idea. Yeah, I start, and then I don't. We never turn this off. I record, I say, and you know what? I was expecting more blah than blah. And then I pick everything up, I move to the next station, I set everything down, I sit down on my bucket. So what I meant when I was talking about blah, and I just go into the next part. There are no redos. If it falls down, it falls down. What you see is what you see. The only parts edited out are the parts where I have a tripod clenched under one arm, and I'm holding the other one in my hand. There's a bucket chair hanging on my pinky, and I have a radio. Where's this radio? So I have a radio in my hand, like this. This is the bucket chair, hanging like this. Under this arm is the tripod, and I'm carrying the other tripod in this hand, and I'm driving the guy like this. That's how we do. We go to the next station, we do it again. So I've gotten it down to where, I don't know about you, I've done it a couple times. So what happens is, I fall into this cadence that I don't even know I'm falling into. I spend this long at this obstacle, then this long, then this long, then this long, then this long. When I get done, I'm usually within a minute or 90 seconds of the cutoff when I finish at Teardrop at Station 9. Or at Gate 5, if we're doing a Class 3. And I just, boom, 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 I move my spot to spot to spot. I had said, for those of you who saw yesterday's, who saw me talk about the Aztec, and I said that people, well, obviously some of you have, because you know that I'm obviously biased enough that I can deliberately wrong a line to make a tire look bad, as was pointed out in comments that I've seen before. How do I find the time to do that? Like, how do I find the time to do that all in 30 minutes? Because, the end product, typically in full editing out, it takes me about 30 seconds to go from station to station. So in an entire video, I might edit out like 6 minutes. I edit about 6 minutes out of a whole thing. I like to think of the movie Amelie, where they basically pre-shot the entire movie. They pre-vis the entire movie with an iPhone. So when they shot the movie, there's like nothing left on the cutting room floor. They wanted to shoot the exact movie that they wanted to shoot. And while I ain't making motion pictures over here, I do like to think that I am not conservative with my time, but conservative in my efforts. That I don't want to go out there and shoot 3 hours of content and whittle it down to 20 minutes. I shoot 35 minutes of content and whittle it down to 30. I missed the 5 Crawler Canyon memberships. That'll keep us above 100. That keeps our head above water. Shout out Miata Commuter. Oh, that reminds me. Miata Commuter, remind me. I debated, I hemmed and hawed about putting these on Lord Pentaby because I liked the Scrambler so much. He doesn't get driven on his regular tires enough. So I know that when you sent these in, you had said if you're not using them, send them out to you. You got to remind me. You have to directly remind me, or I will forget. And of course, obviously, they came with RC 4-wheel drive foam, so those are gone. But remind me, and I will send you the Scramblers. Because otherwise, I will forget. Can you show my pics I emailed Mr. C? When did you email them? How long ago? What are we talking? Oh, 6 minutes ago. Now, oh, nice. Oh, I like the doors. Oh, I like that. Oh, did you hydro dip? How did you do this? How you do this? Oh, you okay? Hold on. I was gonna try to do this really jank, but instead, what we'll try to do is we'll try to do screen sharing. I think I still have it. That's not gonna do it. Come back over here. Come back over here. Nope. It's not. It's not resizing for me. Okay. Now I should have the split. Where's the? What does the split screen look like? Oh, like that. Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, that's not. That's suboptimal. I can't tell what you're seeing, but that looks pretty good. Okay, wait, now let me go back to this one. Oh man, I wish I was better at this. The rear fender though is something. I meant to. What I was asking him is that hydro dipped? Look at that. God, I wish I could do this better. Look at that. I can't tell what I'm sharing because when I click this, it pops back to, like, the chat reappears over the top. You know what? It would have been easier to just hold this up in front of the camera because, my God, every day I feel like technology slips further and further away from me. Like, let me see. Which can we actually see better? Like, I feel like we can actually see that better. This is how bad I am with technology. That's pretty good. I really like the door. What he's done with the door. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Mine will not have this level of stuff. Hey, I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, gotta practice. Yes, I definitely do have to practice. Put the scramblers with Woody. They can go in the box whenever he comes out. Okay, got it. Yeah, those VTech 35 kgs, I believe that if it has a blue case and says 35 kg on the outside, they all seem to be the same, except for the Injora. The Injora one is so slow, it's almost kind of unbelievable how slow it is. Look at this. We already had I don't even have to solder. Whatever this originally came out of had a direct power servo in it. And this way, I can just power it up so I can get the servo centered before I mount it into the vehicle. Make sure no wires are in the way of der hole. Set Scarlet back down. Well, I've never tried to do this part. So, hey, it works. A system designed by an idiot. Turns out, but I can't screw it down because we have 6 inches of extra wire. Play with it off stream when you can set up how the screen share uses what screen. Yeah, I don't understand the resizing. Ugh. Yes, this is Scarlet. Oh, I don't know what StreamYard is. I'm using OBS. Making my own high clearance stainless steel lower lengths. Oh, I'm mumbling. Don't worry about me. It's a sticker. It hides my bob cut. Nice. Hey. If it's a hack, it's not a bodge, and if it's stupid and it works, it's not stupid. Yeah, I'm now looking at the one that's out of frame, and I don't know how to do it right. Yeah, that bed is short. That bed's real short. Could you make a video on how to solder the wires for a direct power servo? I mean, I could. Yeah. It's not a It's not difficult. You know what is difficult? Remembering things. Her radio is about 20 feet that way. I hope. I think I left it over here. Does she have a wheel or no? No. Oh no, she has that aftermarket, racing wheel. That's what she's got. It has a nice foam. I'm not a huge foam fan, but this is a nice foam. And I had a battery. I still do. Yet the Endura 14 LP 14 kg is way faster than the exact same everyone else looking at 20. Yeah. StreamYard is like Zoom. Zoom. Also, I don't know how many of the people this applies to. How many of you out there have multiple fusions of any kind? Like multiple Fusion Pros, multiple Fusion SEs, but particularly Fusion SEs. I don't think I have two of them that make the same volume level of startup tone when you turn them on. Scarlett's, you can barely hear it. You have to be right on top of it to hear it. I usually have to wiggle the wheel to see if she's on. Then we should also make sure that we don't have sub trim in this, because we have plus 30. Eco Power couldn't even stay straight right. Also, why is it so hard to buy turnbuckles? We like turnbuckles. Why is it so hard to get them? Any thoughts on putting the cage back in Lolo? That's never gonna happen. That's impossible. Something with the 3D printing on that cage. I had it hanging on a hook on the pegboard, and it fell off one day and quite literally shattered. Like, it broke into like 5 major pieces, and you could grab the pieces and just break pieces off. Just like breaking up uncooked spaghetti. That guy, I don't know what happened. I have to assume something when it was being printed, but something definitely happened to that guy. He became hyper-frangible and would not have survived the first hit. Like, part of it would have broken out. I really liked it, and also, well, atop that, we have factor 2. It wouldn't fit on that chassis. The cage was right where the shock towers are on that high-low. So that cage was doomed from the beginning. I want one of those cages in one of the Knudsen bodies, like, badly. But I'll build you know what? We do, we build rigs to bodies all the time. No, not here. We would never build a rig specifically for a body, as I look at the ones sitting over here that were built specifically for bodies. Scarlett was pretty much built specifically for this body. I mean, come on. Yes, they have different volumes. 2 original Fusion 1800s both sound the same. I said SEs or Pros. I didn't say Legacies. I have a bunch of Legacies, and they're much louder than the new ones. 5 Fusions, all of them, the volume is about the same. Huh. I think the startup tone is reliant on the gearbox. I mean, maybe. It's not loud, but it's loud enough. I don't know. Like, does the mic pick this up? Like, I can barely hear that. The sound the Servo would have made when it wouldn't make that would have been louder. Also, I have to take into account that this is perhaps memory dilation as some of the Outrunner setups are wild in how loud they are. Like, they'll make you jump. They're so loud. We're just going to tuck here. As long as nothing is in the way of that screw, we should be good to go. There, and that right about there. Make sure the wire is not in the way. Down. I thought this was going to be less successful. I haven't had to take this apart before. Yeah, I can't hear it. Great. Now I'm going to have to power everything up and listen for the difference. Then my success has been successful. This will be a lot quicker. Now, all I have to do is find wherever the screw is that I dropped that holds the drag link on. And we'll be steering again. In theory. Hey! I had that momentary worry there just a few seconds ago, which was is the head height on this servo gonna mess up my drag link and panhard? But it doesn't look like it. It looks like I'm gonna have to put trim back in. But before we put trim back in, we remind ourselves that this is a Flash Hobby servo, which means it's reverse. Yep, it's definitely reverse. Because ask me if I have... Oh, that's throwing way too far. Ask me if I have trimmed out a servo all the way and then realized that it was steering the wrong direction and then had to do it all over again. Yes, the answer is yes. I just bought that exact chassis to use my Warlord cab body. It's a good chassis. Most of my rigs have sound generation, so the Pro is drowned out by the sound of V8 or diesel engines. That's cool. Noise canceling keeps us from hearing a lot of things in your videos. Most times I'm grateful. Yeah, 100%. How trashed was that servo off the Templar Spider? Did you ever test it? I never hooked it up to the test rig, but that thing is definitely not making 35 kg. Our old friend, the Warriors. It was a difference. I could tell just in setup that the 35 kg I replaced this 35 kg with was making more power, which is not how things should be. Oh, wow. This was already set at 80% each direction, and it was way too much. Try about 50. Is that thing full throwing at 50%? Yeah, it is. Yeah, 49%. And then we're looking at about, I'm going the wrong way. Very scientific. Looks like about 49.53. He's just pushing Susan away. How are we on, is that 2? How are we on 2? Get right out there. Ooh, watch out, dust blotter. I need a deeper bench so I have more room to drive. Oh, I should have done the eco power test where we go like this. Yeah, the eco power's not doing that. It's a little bit. Oh, I didn't even attach that battery. It's just flopping around. If the new mic removes things like the cuckoo clock, then it's unacceptable. Was the cuckoo going off?
No.
I think the cuckoo might be asleep. I have a pack of... Wait, let me go. I can't see from the glare from the sun. And it says 1 o'clock. So the clock is still running. I have a pack. I was helping the in-laws move stuff out of a storage shed. And I found a 4-pack of D batteries that had not yet expired. So I have some D batteries to put in the old cuckoo, so maybe he can come out of his house again. And chime on time, because right now before he went to sleep, he was chiming at about 10 minutes after the hour. He started at 5, then it was 6, then it was 7, then it jumped to about 10.
He also doesn't chime the right time either.
And he also does not chime the right time. I don't know how to set it to where it makes it so that he does. But we'll blunder along. We'll blunder along. I have 2 of the Pros. They sound the same. I wonder if the battery output stats have anything to do with the volume. Well, okay. Now I need to know. Okay. I think I have to turn the radios on. Yeah, because that's the tone. So let's see. Can we hear this one? And this is an SE with a lot more use on it. It's a little louder. Okay, so that's a reasonably good test because those are both 1200s. So those two 1200s, baseline is a little bit louder, but not a lot. All right, who else is near? Oh, all right. Don't even have to get a different radio out. I still haven't glued his windshield back in. He's just rocking it, no windshield. This is also a Fusion 1200. Oh, but we have to switch the model. All right. Now I heard that one just a second ago. Okay, that one sounds way different. It's not appreciably louder. And okay. I didn't hold it up. Yeah, didn't hear anything. Okay, I'm gonna hold this guy right up against the mic. Tell me he doesn't sound like he's gargling gravel. Like, what is the Okay, so maybe that's all. Okay, I'm willing to acknowledge maybe all I'm hearing is the difference in the different KV ones, because those 1200s all sounded the same. If essentially, I would say the 2 that are both in XF gearboxes sounded pretty much the same. So whoever said gearbox might be on to something, because the one in the OD3 definitely sounded different. Now, just grab this, turn this on. Waiting. Welcome. You definitely didn't hear her say welcome to Radio Link. All right. Pro. I'm going to do it right here, so see. That's like 5 times as loud. Yeah. Like, I couldn't hear the other ones. My buddy over here at the end of the bench is about 8 feet away. Couldn't hear the 1200s. And this is significantly louder. So maybe it is just gearbox. Who else do I have? Okay, now I'm trying to think. Do I have an SE in a VFD? Does the SE get louder in a VFD? I gotta think on that.
Was that Vanquish?
Yeah. After you test the Holmes 3D and the temper, I'll see about getting the UTB 18 gearbox unless it's doing fine. Filed to fit drive shaft angles. Oh, flipped. Yes, flipped. I burned up my micro dig servo the other day. Got to watch my endpoints. Yeah, on dig, micro is super important. The endpoints are super important. Hopefully she survives to the next round to get to use the new servo. I think 26 meters is probably going to get there. What rig is that? I'd like to see a video on it. Who? Which one? Where? When? Which one? I just had 4 out here. Which one? What color was it? How much servo do I need for my SOA Ascent? The wheel tire combo weighs 1.2. I would say 35 is the minimum. 45 or 50 will do you better. Okay.
I think that's an 1800.
This is a Pro. So here's another Pro. That's on?
Yeah.
Okay, here's another Pro, and this is on a Stealth X with no battery in it. Infinite resistance! Infinite resistance makes them extra quiet. And that sounded... Okay, you know what? I want to do it again, but I'm going to hold on to the spur gear because I felt the spur gear moving. Okay, let's see. Yeah. There's something... So the gearbox is definitely impacting the tone. But I don't think it's impacting the volume level. So I still have no explanation as to why one is louder than the other. And we can't test fusions on 4S to find out if they get 25% louder. Which is better, 35 kg for a Phoenix, Animos or Zoske? They're the same thing. They're absolutely the same thing. That is the same servo. That's the DS3235 SG. There's no difference. I buy whichever one is cheaper at the time. I've gotten them as low as like $22, and I've never paid more than $29.99. But if they are a blue case and they say, do I have one that's not installed? But of course not. No. If they are a blue and they say 3235 SG, it's the same servo. They're the same speed, the same everything. You buy whichever one's cheaper. Ruby does have a fusion. Yes, another 1200. So thinking about dipping my toe into the 5th scale world. Oof. I got my first radio link radio for a new Capra. Is it hard to set up cruise control with the Fusion? Hey, it's my first. No, it's super easy. I have a video on it. It's short. It should get you through pretty quickly. It's PMix 01 or PMix 02 if you feel spicy. But yeah, it'll take you, even the first time through, it will take you a few minutes. And then once you've done it, it's just in your head. You're only changing like 6 parameters. And then once it's set, you've got it. Loving Gary Busey, starting my own build and might call it Steve if you don't mind. That's fine. Steve's not taken. If you will recall, the Stars and Stripes Phoenix, his name is Steve with like 4 E's. So Steeeeeve. So Steve is not taken. And also, there's plenty of Steves out there. You're welcome to Steve or Esteban or any other form of Steve. I don't own Steve. Did you buy the Stealth X as told? Where do I get a pinion gear 48 pitch? Anywhere. You should be able to find the multi-packs on AliExpress. I'm assuming the same multi-packs that we find on Amazon. What you will get is generally a set of 5 pinions, and the end of the pinion, no, camera 2. The end of the pinion will look like, okay, camera 3. The end of the pinion will look like that. It will have that like lasered into the end of it. The 5-pack over here in US Freedom units costs about $10. These are not the best pinions money can buy. But what these are the pinions that you use until you get your setup right. The Stealth X will come with an 18-tooth if they're still including a pinion with it. 1887 is the gearing. So it is unlikely that you'll need to gear down unless you're running 4S. If you're planning on running 4S, you want to buy the gear pack that goes up to like, say, 20. It'll be like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, or 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And if you're going to run 3S, you'll want to get the pack that goes above 18. So has like the 21, 22, 23. Then once you get your gearing the way you like it, and you feel like that's the gearing I'm going to deal with, you find someplace that sells Robinson Racing. These are the best pinions in the world. There is no competition. I try to put them in everything. They make them in a bunch of grades. I go with the Robinson Absolutes. I don't know what European distributorship looks like on Robinson pinions. I just know that they make the best pinions. Kimbrough makes the best spurs. Robinson makes the best pinions. Did you buy the $800 Spectrum radio? I have it in my cart, but I'm waiting. I purchased an Amazon OD3. Looking forward to seeing this working. That's what's in Scarlet. I have 3 of them. I'm currently running 3 of them. I have no complaints other than initially setting your pinion mesh is horrible. Set your pinion mesh with the gearbox outside of the vehicle. Because if you try to do it inside the vehicle, it's a nightmare. You will just give up. So get your motor and everything installed before even putting the gearbox inside the truck. The one you just put the servo in, the green FJ. That's Scarlet. Yeah, there's a whole build series on her. Do I remember what it came from, the Workbench series it was? I do not. You can, yeah. Driver 8 is not wrong. You can run a Hobbywing Fusion on 4S. Once. Just once. The Blue Case 35 kg Pro on 8.4 volt is fantastic. Yeah, it is my belief that the Blue Case 45 kg is just the Blue Case 35 kg Pro with new screen printed graphics on it. And they changed its name from the 3235 Pro to the 3245. But I swear it's the same servo. I'm waiting for those 3245s to drop to a regular price of $29.99, and then we'll just be living. Look how matte she is. That's really matte. I'm easily distracted. I switched to radio link. Thank you, sir, because of your search. A better radio. That was the 8X you had out. Was that the 8X? Yes, that is the RC8X. This is the radio that I use for Argentum. The only rig that is programmed to it is Argentum. I do not explicitly recommend this radio. It does a bunch of stuff, but I don't know how much you need that stuff. My recommendation, if you are a normal person and you are going to purchase a singular RadioLink radio and pair multiple rigs to it, buy an RC6. Buy a Genzace 3800 or similar battery to put in there, and you're done. This has more stuff, but you could buy 3 of these. For the cost, if you're thinking about buying yourself one of these, and maybe you've tried a bunch of other stuff, maybe you want to use the belly button, maybe you want some of the little features on this thing, I routinely forget what I have some things programmed to. Her delightfully accented voice when she speaks. Let's get it up here so we can hear it.
Welcome to Radio Link.
She doesn't talk loud enough. When I hit dig,
Programmable mixing. 1 open. Programmable mixing. 1 close.
if you're outdoors, you can't hear her at all. I wish she was 5 times as loud. And beyond that, the biggest battery that will fit in here are these. You'll notice RC8X 2800s. They have to be super flat. I was running some of these, which are for the RC4. You see that difference in thickness? Basically makes the battery door not want to fit. Out of this 2800, you can get about 6 hours. About. And I learned this at Proline by the Fire driving Argentum at night. I had to have this in the radio. Well, I had to have this in the radio and this in my pocket because I was more worried about the battery performance of this than I was about the battery performance of the Phoenix. The battery indicator on this was dropping a lot faster than the battery indicator on the truck. So, meanwhile, if you have an RC4 or an RC8 with the big 3800 in it, I have famously talked about, I charge this radio about once every 6 months. And I regularly leave this radio on. I forget this radio on, and I will finish filming. Summer is still in full blast. It's over 100 degrees outside. I will finish recording at about 10:30 in the morning, go inside to do my edits, and this will be sitting here like that, right here on the bench. As you'll see, it's on 7.8 volts right now. I left this on for about 8 hours and then came out here to do something, and I was like, dang. And in 8 hours, it dropped to 7.8 volts from like 8.3. So the versatility of this, the utility of this, and if you drop it enough times, when it's new and freshly born, it looks like this. We don't need this. The range, they claim the radio on, they claim the range on this is 600 meters with the dipole antenna. I don't think we need that. So what you do is you use the same RC4GS for years until your hands have polished it smooth, and then you drop it directly on the antenna, and it snaps right off at the top. There's a little part inside here that you have to desolder. If this one will come apart for me, you have to desolder right there to pull then you can pull that metal off. Once you've desoldered that and pulled the metal off, you take your finger and you shove all of the antenna down inside the body like that, and then you take a Dremel and you just grind that flat over there, and then you're much happier with it. Look at that. Look how sleek, and it barely jiggles. There's only a little loose piece of plastic floating around in there. Every Radio Link radio in here has probably been dropped at least once. And yet they survive. Zombies radio, I tried to rewire myself, butchered the whole thing, and the radio is still functional. So, there you go. I traded my barely used Fusion SE1200 with an unused set of S4s for an RC four-wheel drive 1/18th Galan. That's insane. That's the most Scandinavian thing I'm going to hear all day. Running Losi hardened steel pinions on most of my Go Fast cars, easier to get in the UK, but about $10 each. Yeah, the Losi makes an acceptable pinion. They definitely make a better pinion than, and this is absolutely wild, they make a better pinion than Axial will provide you. They make a better pinion than Vanquish will provide you. How can an Axial pinion be worse than a Losi pinion? That's like the same guy, basically. He's handing you one out of one pocket and one out of the other pocket, but one is less good than the other. I was jealous how easy your Radio Link was compared to the 10PX. That's why I got one. If a dude that owns a 10PX is out buying a Radio Link, that's right. That's got to tell you something. I gotta. You know what? I gotta call up Jesse Yang. I gotta tell Jesse Yang, yo, guess what I heard? Only 6 hours. That thing is a battery hog. Also, it should be pointed out, I was driving exclusively at night, and I had my screen brightness turned down to 35%. It's basically like having your phone on with the screen on for 6 straight hours. The battery life is likewise impacted. On all these others, they're all backlit, but if we turn this guy on, there's the backlight. And let me get it. Yeah, we can see the backlight. I've never timed it, but the backlight only stays on for like a little while, and then it turns off. So with the RC8, the backlight stays on all the time. And if you turn it off, okay, because this is dot matrix, it must be like 30 seconds. I'm waiting for it to turn off. When that backlight turns off, you can still read it perfectly. In high brightness conditions, you can actually read it more easily after the backlight turns off. If you turn the backlight off on the RC8, you can't see anything. It's just gone. It as never was. Does this just stay on forever? Like, I swear those turn off. No pinion included in my kit. I could have sworn they used to include pinions. But yeah, the cheap packs of pinions is the way to go. If you get away with sound, your pinion is not centered. I set my pinion meshes immaculately. No one may ever come in my house and question my pinion mesh. Could someone question how centric the spur is? Absolutely. Absolutely. Particularly, oh my God, anything Stealth X, the included spur that comes with a Stealth X is made just out of nylon. I think it's nylon 6. I have seen some of those things so wobbly that when it's running, it looks like a trout swimming upstream. I try to replace them as quickly as possible. I have a whole drawer full of them.
Tell your community your opinion trick about putting the next size up.
I got 500. I've gotten 500 plus meters out of my radio link. Yeah, I bought my first RC. So does it not turn off? I got my first, or is it looking for something to connect to? I got my first RC6 specifically for the Arma thing that goes fast, the Limitless, because I was Fly Sky at the time, and the Fly Sky would get about 200 feet down the street and just completely lose signal altogether. I got the RC6 all the way to the end of my street, where my street ends, to where I couldn't even tell what direction the vehicle was facing, and was still in full control, which is pretty wild. I even bought the little drone antenna holder that makes the antenna go out in like a Y format. I've been missing what my cross says. He needs 7075 for something. Sometimes it moves faster than my brain. I've been going back and forth between buying an RC4GS or an RC6GS. I definitely have way more 4s than I have 6s. The only thing the 6 adds are the 2 little switches right here. And you don't need to debate, because... Where is he? Who is it? I have one. There's a radio. I'm trying to find it. It's over here now. Somebody moved. I hope you can hear me. Otherwise, you think I just left.
Regardless, the 4 is 5 channels anyways.
Yeah, the 4 is 5 channels. I'm just yelling. There it is. You know what? It's Eddie. It's always in the last place you look. So, when I first built a rig, I had it on an RC4, and it was 5 channels. And then I realized that 5 channels wasn't enough. So, you can go on Amazon if you're... it does turn off. See, it's off now. But look, you can read it just fine. Even with the stick. My kid asked me, do you ever take those stickers off? And I was like, sometimes I'm blowing them off with the air and the sticker blows off. This, Eddie's radio, is the full hybrid. You will notice the black housing of the RC4, but it has the gunmetal wheel of the RC6. You can buy the wheel assembly on Amazon for like $15. And you just unscrew. That's why that's missing. Once you take them apart, it's really hard to get that sticker back on. It's like 1, 2, 3. It's like 7 screws to take the radio apart. And then you just take this guy off and slide. So you can turn an RC4 into an RC6. But like I say, if you're buying a radio, spend the extra $20 US or get it off of AliExpress and save yourself a little bit of money. So this is an RC4GS until you power it up. RC6GS. Yeah, you flash the firmware through the USB right there. Takes like 2 minutes. But if you're not a crazy person and you don't intend to own over 50 radios, just buy an RC6. I would in clear conscience and on any day recommend an RC6 over an RC8. Unless maybe if you're racing or you're also doing drag racing, or you need something that has shorter latency, better latency on it. Yeah, then RC8, sure. But I'm not a big expensive radio guy anymore. I was back when big expensive radios were the only option. Yeah, I know. Too geek to be chic. I don't need to be able to browse the web on my radio. This is the dumbest idea ever. Yes, that's on the new Spectrum. That mean, like, seriously. I guess nobody owns one of these. I guess nobody owns a phone. The steering spring in my G7P broke last time out. Expensive pinions remind me of Monster Cable. I understand that reference. And okay, I will defend myself further. Here's one in the package still. Oh, I got 2 in the package. Is this an absolute or a regular? Okay, so this is just a Robinson regular. This is a nickel-plated 14 tooth, 48 pitch, 8th bore pinion. These are $4.49 from A Main Hobbies. If you buy the absolute version, they are $5.49. They cost $1 more. Or you can spend $1 more and you can buy the aluminum pro pinions also for $5.49. And that's beautifully. Pinions are like shoes. Who's the best indicator for this? There we go. This is why I love pinion gears. So this one and this one cost the same amount. I love that. I love that. That should cost 4 times as much as that. It's at least 4 times as much material. But they don't do that. We've got an 11 and a 21. It's huge. Why do I have a 21 tooth 32 pitch pinion gear? Mind your business. I also have a 22. I didn't even pick out the biggest one. In Mod 1, because I've got some Go Fast stuff. How big do you want? Mod 1 29 tooth? I think that's a 39. Yeah, Go Fast is dumb. Don't fall down that hole. I'm using the RC4 GS. It works lovely. The steering is a little bit far from my hand, but it works great. My GT5 kept quitting. Yeah, the GT5, I don't know. Have a good one, sir. It's 9:30 p.m. here. Pitch black outside. Trail buddy has arrived to go night crawling through the forest. He found a good pile of rocks and logs going to investigate. That sounds awesome. I think the RC6 is worth the extra money if you don't need several radios. 100% agree. Yeah, Mike Cross, if you're not hungry to replace it, and it's a G7P, so I would never tell you not to replace it. I would actively tell you to replace it. But if you want to keep it, the spring is usually just held on a little tab inside. You'll have to take the radio apart. But it's nothing that can't be repaired unless the spring itself actually broke. Usually the spring just either pops off or breaks the little plastic hook that it's supposed to hang on to. So at most, you might need to put a screw through the housing with a nut on it to hold the spring on. That would fit with the aesthetic of the G7P, to be completely honest. And while you have it open, you can adjust the spring tension to your liking. It'd be pretty stupid to keep looking more places if you already found whatever you were looking for. Sometimes you go out on the mission to find what you're looking for, forget what you're looking for, find the thing, but you keep looking because you can't remember what you were looking for in the first place. That might just be age, though. Oh, if the end of the spring broke off, then that's the thing. 50 radios is just crazy. I'm at a healthy 40-ish radios. There's actually, okay, I threw down 50 as a number because it seemed sane. Oh, it's way more than 50. It has to be more than 50. Although the MT-12 did help because all the Go Fasts went on one radio and that freed up. I didn't have to buy a radio. Once I bought the MT-12, I didn't have to buy a radio for like 4 months because I just kept taking radios and receivers. I bought a couple extra receivers and just had radios, RC4s everywhere. Because now all the Go Fast, I can only drive them one at a time. But you know what I do? I only drive them one at a time anyway. I'm happy enough with my RC4, enough channels for lights too. Yeah. Like, if you're getting a Phoenix, get an RC6. Because with these boys right here, you can put dig on this one and overdrive on this one. And you can set it to where if they're both in neutral, you can just pull neutral and just sit there and go, rawr, rawr, rawr. Then you can do front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, full dig, and you can also P-mix the momentary for dig so that you can leave it in dig and then hit this to dig. And then if you, yeah, you can P-mix. I don't know if you could, I guess you could P-mix. Can you P-mix the center? Could you P-mix neutral? I don't know, I might have to try it. I'll forget within minutes. I should have bought the 6 myself, but was looking cheap, but then realized I needed more channels. Like I say, $15. RC Crawling Addict doesn't own a phone, which is wild. But at the same time, on the same thing as wild, I get it. Because I didn't own a cell phone until I had kids, and I didn't have kids until I was in my 30s. So you can get away without a phone. You literally need to connect your phone to the radio to be able to surf the web. Then, what is the point? Truly, what is the point? What wheels are on Scarlet? It's all Amazon. These are Amazon. What are these? Like split sixes? Amazon split sixes with the beadlock rings that have the 6 little notches in them so I could line them up with the holes. I saw them independently of one another on Amazon, and I thought, oh, those will look pretty good. They have they got a little bit of a G.I. Joe vibe. So I can, if you would like, are you on the Discord? If you're on the Discord, I can look them up in my purchase history and put a link to them. If you're that interested. Are you running the Centon 6S much? I haven't driven it. I keep waiting for my buddy. He's a plumber, and I don't know what he does during the summer, but I haven't heard from any of those local dudes in it's been like this summer, 3 months since I've heard from those guys. I don't know if they go out and do vacation things. I don't know what they're doing, but I haven't heard from those dudes. Hopefully, as the weather starts to cool down, if we can actually get an autumn, I will get to go over to his house and drive for free, which I look forward to. Bill Truitt has 3 radios and is in the process of putting most of the rigs on the radio link. Yeah. Oh, the spring itself broke. It's just an extension spring, the pull kind. I'm trying to remember. There's something. Okay, if you have an old CD player, like a portable CD player, they will have multiple extension springs on them because the return module to pull the laser back is one of those extension springs. I'm not saying that I was that person that used to disassemble a lot of small electronics. I'm not saying that I'm the person that still disassembles a lot of small electronics now. I just have an inability to throw things away. And if I think there might be something useful in that thing, I'm going to take that thing apart and get those springs out of there. So yeah, you should be able to get an extension spring if you really feel like you want to fix an G7P, which, I would get it. If you were like, nah, I'd be like, I get it. Kenya Zonquish. Yeah. I got my first cell phone in 1993 or 1994 before turning 20. Wow. Flex. That is so Mr. Inserts from the far north, Mr. Brorb was over here. Mr. Spain is not here today. So instead we've got Brorb flexing on us about getting his first cell phone in 1993. I got my first cell phone in 2003. So 10 years later, I was in my 30s. And I still didn't want it. But she was like, you have kids now. What if I need to get a hold of you? I was doing termite remediation at the time. I had it was a phone shaped like a peanut. It was like a little, was it a Motorola? It was white and blue. And it was definitely shaped like either an 8 or a peanut. And then after that, I had a Sony Ericsson that had like a Walkman in it. That was their claim to fame. You could put music in it, and it had a headphone jack on the side so you could use it for music. I don't know if I ever listened to music on that phone, but I had it. Today I watch people like zombies with their faces always stuck into their phone. No, man. RC Crawling Addict, I'm pulling up a chair. It's worse, man. It's worse. What are they saying about the kids now? When they give the kids the tablets when they're really young, still formative, I think would be the word, their eyes get used to focusing at this distance instead of that distance. Remember, okay, most of us will be of the age that someone would have told us if you sit too close to the TV, you're going to go blind, right? And we all said, yeah, whatever. You know what's happening to these kids now with the tablets 6 inches from their face? They're going blind. Not blind, but it is making them incredibly myopic. It's an epidemic of myopia. They can't focus at correct distance because they're looking at everything this far away from their face. Is that crazy? As I say too many times, and it makes my wife roll her eyes, it makes her roll her eyes to the point where you can hear it. You hear the eyes roll in the sockets. I go, what a time to be alive. The kids are going blind from looking at their electronic devices too close to their faces. Have you ever tried the KV up, gear down? Absolutely. All right. I'm looking for bits for Formula Off-Road build. I'm going to get there. I might try and fix it. I mean, what do you got to lose? If there's a radiator to repair, it's the G7P. If I had honestly, just for the giggles of it, if I had a radio here that I knew had been rendered non-functional, I would open it up and take the spring out just so I could mail the spring to New Zealand to say that I had done that. But all the radios here work. I'm trying to remember if I've ever broken a radio, but I don't think I have. Well, that radio, that you didn't break that Fly Sky, it broke itself.
Well, in all honesty, you don't have a receiver for the bankers.
That's true. Norway was super earlier with the whole GSM thing, and then you to protect, especially in the U.S. Yeah, well, you guys are what? Nokia, right? Is Nokia Norwegian? Am I remembering that right? The first mobile phone we had was in a duffel bag with a huge battery you had to pack around. Are you okay? Hold on. There's a sign. I know I've pointed it out on videos before, but there's a sign that hangs right above the chat monitor, and it looks like this, which is an obvious Super Troopers reference. And yes, I did paint this by hand. And I routed this by hand. This is a piece of a fence board. When my oldest was in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, I was forced to buy one of those router jigs. So in that Super Troopers reference, because of the, what was it, chicken fingers and all the shit on the walls, yeah, that's how we ended up with shenanigans. Let me see if I can take anybody on a trip to the Wayback Machine, because my buddy is who co-authored the name Shenanigans for this place. So, I hope you're... Ericsson is Sweden, Nokia is Finland. We just used them. Oh, so Norway's got nothing. I got my first cell phone in the year 2000. Oh man, I miss those. I love rants on the G7P. A guy commented on the G7P video and was asking me questions, and I was like, buckle up, son. All right, we need Susan for this. Gotta get right about there. Okay, you ready? Y'all say cell phones? Yeah, buddy. If it doesn't have an antenna that extends out of frame, do you even have a cell phone? Nothing. We have oil and free healthcare. He's flexing again. Norway is off the chain today. Norway is taking the place of Spain on this afternoon. Yeah, Norway's got oil. They can afford everything early. That's true. Didn't those microwave your brain? Probably. Yes. Shenanigans is the name of the restaurant in the movie Waiting, which had Jennifer Aniston in it. And my brain tries to Mandela affect me and convince me that Jennifer Aniston wasn't in Waiting, but she was. And then it was referenced in Super Troopers in the scene where Farva is cleaning the bathroom and the chief threatens to pistol whip the next person that says shenanigans. So that is where we've got shenanigans. The World War II walkie-talkie of cell phones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as Benjamin just said, the next one who says shenanigans is getting pistol whipped. That phone worked before they put up all the towers for weather modification. Woohoo! Yeah, basically a brick. Yeah. Just out of curiosity. It does have a belt clip. So you can clip that onto your belt. You got it in the, there's where it would slip into the, well, okay. Remember when phones had, people will always say, with reverence, remember when phones had removable batteries? I think this battery has like swelled itself into non-removability. But this whole bar, there's the metal clip to release it. That whole bar on the back is the battery. That weighs 1.7 pounds, which doesn't mean anything to most of you. That's only 765 grams. Worth it. My brain is just... my cell phone is the only reason I can participate in the live stream. Gotta have it. I apologize. I don't know if it's necessary, but I feel like I need to apologize for all of the mobile-only people because I do everything on a desktop, on a computer. I can't even... That's just like a full... Look at that. That's just like an antenna port, like what would be on a CB radio. I wonder if you could get a big whip antenna for one of these. Like those military ones that are on the backpack that has the big whip curled over. Fits right in my hand. And you know what? As I hold this on my shoulder, it's no worse in terms of ergonomics than this. They clearly never intend those to be held up against our heads. And I know we're not supposed to. It's microwaving our brains or whatever, but our brains aren't worth that much. Hey, Farva. Does it still get 911? It probably does. You can clip that to your belt, but it might make you sterile. Even now. I mean, it's powered down. It should... Daphne needs a brick phone. Handheld ham radio. That's basically what that is. Whose radio is this? I need to start printing more labels because I'm forgetting. I'm gonna move this now. In 1990, I talked to people from California, Ireland, and many faraway places with no towers. That's true. But the thing is, apparently, and this is the best of my understanding of it, is that as we keep climbing the rungs of G's, which I assume just means generation or whatever, right? So we're on 5G now, but it was 4G was LTE. 4G LTE, whatever that means. As the G's go up, which means more transmission speed, the range gets shorter and shorter. So you get more speed, less distance. It is my understanding that this is why they make like routers, like the Wi-Fi router that's making this possible. It broadcasts in 2.4 and 5 gigahertz at the same time because the 5 gigahertz doesn't get very far. 5G also doesn't get very far. That's why they've just installed it at our local outdoor mall, Victoria Gardens. It has 5G. You can be on 5G and have a good signal. As soon as you walk inside the crazy store that your wife wants to go into, like Anthropology, which is a place I can't believe exists because it feels like I'm in a rom-com when I go in that. I'm like, this place can't exist. Your signal drops to 0. Like you can't even open an email inside the store. Step back outside, you got 5G again. The transmission range is so short. And then it's one of my favorite things that they got the people all riled up and afraid of 5G because they were like, the 5G will get in you and it'll modify your DNA. But the 5G is not powerful enough to penetrate human skin. So you're not getting any 5G. Insane. Do you still have a wire running through the house for your Wi-Fi? Let me tell you something.
Yes.
You brought this on yourself. I'm going to find out right now if McGuire's Detailer will remove old We'll remove old dry erase pen. Yes! Not just yes, it works better than the cleaner for whiteboards. Wow! Look how clean that is. Fresh born. All right. If you have a whiteboard that you abuse, if you have a whiteboard that is mistreated to the extreme, get yourself some McGuire's Last Touch spray detailer. You can clean your whiteboards for the rest of all time. Phones are small microwaves. Well, I mean, yeah. They literally microwaves. They're small waves. They literally are. They don't behave like microwaves, though. Like, a reason a microwave works is because it's enclosed inside a Faraday cage. It's inside a metal box. That's how it cooks your food and doesn't, like, turn you on. That's why if you drill a hole in a microwave and it doesn't stop functioning, you can hold a little fluorescent light bulb outside the microwave and it'll light up. Because that's the microwaves coming out. But microwaves are not explicitly dangerous. You're absorbing them all the time. The sun makes them as well. You just don't want 1,500 watts of them, point blank. Or stand in front of a radar on an airplane, which will indeed roast your chicken nuggets. Okay, so inside the house, there is that too bright? No, inside the house, there is a cable modem that comes in from wherever cable comes from. That is going into a Deco, I think it's called a Deco Wi-Fi mesh, right? That Wi-Fi mesh is sending out wavies to its partner unit, which is in my kitchen. Okay? So the Deco in the kitchen with what do we draw, like a frying pan to know that it's in the kitchen? So that's in the kitchen. This is at my desk, which has monitors on it and looks like that. And we'll just put teeth on it so it looks like an angry robot or a happy robot. Coming out of that Deco is an Ethernet cable that goes to a Ethernet over power adapter that is also in the kitchen. And that is plugged into an outlet in the wall in the kitchen. The wire for where you are, you're in this building right here. The wiring to that building is attached to this building right here. And then inside here, there is a Wi-Fi, is an Ethernet over power adapter. That has a cable that goes out and goes up to a router that is right up over there behind us. And then that is how the signal gets to here. So it comes in from a coaxial cable into the house, Ethernet to there, travels through open space to that, back to an Ethernet cable, into the wall, through the electrical wiring, underground, into here, and then through an Ethernet cable again to go into that. And then that beams out this, the Wi-Fi again, and then you have YouTube. Simple. Absolutely simple. It's not even complicated. To get the power here, I ran 6-gauge wire underground, but the problem is it goes through the fuse box. There's a step on there that I didn't show up. The step I didn't show is that to where the Ethernet over power adapter is plugged in, I dug a trench from the back of the house to the shed, and I buried an extension cord in the ground. So the Ethernet over power is coming through an extension cord in the ground. And here's the crazy part. Too geek to be chic points out correctly that this is a janky operation. Okay, so we're on speed test. We're cooked to the thing. Let's see if we drop any frames when we do a test. So let's see what we're pulling on 21 ping. So that's what we're pulling. Creeping up. I mean, I'm sure Norway's gonna come in and be like, oh man, we get gigabit. I have gigabit in my stove. And we're doing about 15 down. It's not too bad. Dropping back down to about 12. So all those cables and getting out to here, and then yes, as JDA 79 just pointed out, yeah, then it all has to go back through all of that stuff again and out through the coaxial cable outside the house. Man, now the whiteboard has a wax finish and won't work with the pens anymore. Look at that. But you know what it did do? Look at this. It's a, did we just hack it? Money. Doesn't even smear. It's not on my fingers. Where is it going? We've converted it into magic. Okay, everybody, regardless of where you are in the world, look at this. Maguire's your whiteboards. This is what Big Whiteboard has been trying to keep away from us for years. That if we spray last touch detailing spray on our whiteboards, it improves their efficacy. I would go so far as to say 100%. If right over dry erase with fresh, it normally wipes right off. Sir, you underestimate my ability to leave something on a whiteboard. I had whiteboard on my bike maintenance board over there. I'd made a little maintenance sheet to show when I had done, like, refresh the sealant in my tubeless tires, done brake servicing, stuff like that. There was dry erase marker that had been on there for 4 years. I had to use denatured alcohol to take it off. Was the only thing, which means that, well, now I can bring it back to life. This is not sponsored by Maguire's Last Touch Spray Detailer, only the finest products, but hey, they can hit me up if they want. I only use that to clean this mat, by the way, and sometimes bodies. That's all I use that for. I genuinely preferred this Chemical Guy Synthetic Quick Detailer because it smells better. Let me see. What would I call this smell? Oh, it's good. It's good. The Chemical Guy stuff smells amazing. This stuff smells cheaper. It just does. But it also was cheaper, so I'm the one to blame for that. Let me put it that last time, I promise. This cost less than this. And this is twice as much. Twice as much is more better when you're cleaning off the... You know what? I lied. I just lied all to your open faces openly. Look at all these tire treads. Wait, I can do it without you seeing it. No. That's literally what I bought this detailer for. Trying not to overreach. Nice. Doesn't smell as good, though. But clearly I didn't value the smell that much because I wasn't willing to pay twice as much money for it to make it smell better. The phone has an effect on every user's aura. An energy disruption equals damage. No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, I don't think every energy disruption is damage. This is why I hate Ohio so much. I get 50 megabit hardwired to my modem. Oi! They just... Oh, man. Okay. I'm feeling like Norway right now. Oh, I hope I didn't delete it. I think I deleted it. I wonder if I can search for it because I deleted it so early. Here's the problem. I almost just searched for Spectrum for my internet with a K in it because I've been so poisoned by the Spectrum Wi-Fi stuff. They just raised our cap from 500 megabit to 600. They're not even going to charge us extra for it. What? I get over 300 on my T-Mobile 5G. Not here. 5G is good for about...
I'll go outside and let you know.
5G is good for about like 120. That's about the best I've ever seen on 5G around here. Maybe somewhere it's getting better, but it's not getting better than that here. It's definitely better than hooking up to a public Wi-Fi in a Kohl's. But the 5G here still is... Not all 5G is 5G, from what I can tell. The Chemical Brothers, what a great band. True. I'm sitting 10 feet from the router and getting 90-ish. I don't even think I'm 10 feet away from this one. But we have to think of how many wires it has traveled through before it gets to this. Cheap high-speed internet is one of the few things we have good here in Eastern Europe. 1 gigabit is $10 a month. I don't even want to talk about what. Okay. Internet should be a utility. We clearly cannot live without it. Like, we can't watch TV anymore. We can't pay our bills anymore. We can't do anything without internet. So the fact that my internet is $105 a month would be unacceptable, but what are we going to do? It's Southern California. I don't have any other options. There are no monopolies here. There's just the fact that you have... No, you're still connected to Wi-Fi.
I turned the Wi-Fi off.
No, you did not. Oh, Verizon Wireless. Okay, we got towers in my neighborhood then. My buddy just went outside and tested his 5G and got 432 outside the building. So clearly there's some 5G repeaters on my street. I don't know where, because I've still never seen above one. Now I'm inside the Faraday cage now. If I try to test 5G, I'll get nothing. My cell phone with Visible is $25 a month. Okay, I don't want to talk about that either. $25 a month is not. That's not a thing. Mine was $105 a month. I called Frontier, told them I was going to Starlink, and they dropped it to $45. I used to do that to Spectrum pretty much every year when they would raise the costs. I'd be like, why'd my price go up? They'd say, oh, your promotional period ran out. And I was like, well, I'm going to go to somebody else then. And then they would just drop it. Another Norwegian with 782 on 5G in his living room. Yeah. Neil Daniels, 1 gigabit for 25 pounds. Unlimited data for 25 pounds. It is definitely King Kong, 100% right. Evil shenanigans. Ever wonder why people can't remember anything microwaved? Brother, you could put me on a cabin deep in the woods and I still wouldn't be able to remember anything, because once as Skeletor said, as the average life expectancy is 76, 50 is not middle-aged, 38 is. Until next time, we start dying at 25, man. That's just the reality of you drop below the replacement rate at 25. You can work out, you can do crossword puzzles, you can do all the things. It'll prolong it, but we're all dying, man. I don't want to get too nihilist at 2 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, but we're all dying, man. Except for Mr. Spain, who doesn't feel good today, so he's not here. Oh, and the kid in Phoenix, he's not dying yet. He's still climbing the hill. I'm deep on the descent. I got another 25 years in me, tops. I've lived 2/3 of my life. 2/3. I have 33% left at best. That is something that I feel is best not to think about too many times in a day, because nothing good comes of that. Don't think about your own mortality. While your time away with toy cars. Mine is free because I host a satellite for sale internet. That's crazy. Oh, okay. Antos swings the pendulum back the other way. He gets $25 cell phone and $10 fast internet, but when he goes out to buy a set of J Concepts ruptures, they're like, give us one of your fingers. So yeah, I get it. Yeah, like I was talking on the Discord about people back east, how I am more of a proponent of Amazon than I am of AliExpress. Because despite living on the west coast of the United States, it takes me, the average is 14 days to get something from AliExpress. And there's nothing quite as rewarding as ordering a $7 part and waiting 2 weeks to get it, when I could order a $12 part and have it tomorrow. So to me, money is time. And that's not just to me. If you want to get too introspective in it, time is money. I know it's a trite phrase at the beginning. Time is money and money is time. Because y'all, do you work for a living? Do you have a job, like a regular job? Like a regular job with a boss and a regular job? What do? Do they give you an increment of money that is relative to an increment of time? Almost as if that time is money. Now, not all time is the same money. Yes, all money is the same time. Not all time is the same money, because you could make a lot more, or you could just do something that you truly enjoy and get paid less for it. Here's the thing I can't do. I can't sit down and are ATMs time machines? Sort of. But they only go to the past. Because you had to make that money in the past. So ATMs are stopwatches. They're time stopping machines. They're allowing you to go to the past where you already converted your time into money. So what I can't do is sit down and think about my mortality. And I also can't try to think about this as a job. This is not my 9 to 5. It can't be. Because there are some days when I'm out here for an hour. I come out, I shoot a video really quick. I'm done for the day. I button it up. The spiders take over. Other days, yesterday, I got out here 7 o'clock in the morning. Decided to knock off, 5:30? So I did 10 hours minus a break for lunch.
Oh, we took a long lunch. It took like 2 hours for lunch.
All right, I did 9.5 hours out here. That's a long day if your profession, if it is toy cars. But I didn't feel like anybody was like, work on the toy cars. I work on the toy cars till I don't feel like working on the toy cars. Then I go do something else. I sat down and I finally put it together. Look how awesome it is. If you're not a Minecraft person, maybe it's not as awesome. But I genuinely had a good time. I put on Paramount Plus. I watched like 6 episodes of Tulsa King, and I built this. The little mini sections, I'm afraid of pulling them apart. The little mini sections all come out, and the roof comes off. Legos are great, man. They're just very expensive. I told my wife there's no chance I was buying this thing because it's expensive and it's Legos, and I'll build it once and then I'll be done with it. But, I mean, if you want to talk about just an ultimate collision of nerderies, my God. I love Minecraft. I love Legos. I like sitting in a chair. And look at the little pig. Look at the little Minecraft people. This only means something to people who have played Minecraft. I sat in my chair. I did not feel like working on toy cars. It was 109 degrees. I felt like sitting in my chair, building a crafting table, and watching Tulsa King. It's not the best show I've ever seen, but you know what? It'll while away an afternoon. Amazon over here has nothing for RC compared to the US. Yeah, that's the thing. I am American, so I tend to be overly Americentric. I forget that other parts of the world, you guys are way better off ordering from AliExpress. You guys get stuff faster, cheaper. The availability of product is different than what we are shown typically on AliExpress. Also, the navigation of AliExpress is a screaming nightmare. Finding anything is an absolute chore on that. Amazon is doing its very best to make it a terrible shopping experience, but so far they haven't been able to thwart me, and they never will, because on one of my bicycles that's sitting over there untouched for 2 years now, I have a power meter on that bike, and I was searching everywhere. That particular bike has a bottom bracket called a BB Right, which means nothing to anyone except people who ride bicycles. It is more difficult to find a power meter for that type of bottom bracket. So I was searching everywhere online, and they are very expensive. Think $500 for a power meter. And I was searching Amazon for power meter, because why not? And one came up sold by Rotor 3D, which makes expensive stuff. They're my favorite cranks are Rotor 3Ds. Anyway, on like page 17 of the power meter search, I'm just absent-mindedly clicking through pages. There is a Rotor 3D power meter called an InPower, 4 BB Wright crank for like $200. And I'm like, this is a scam. So the first thing you do is you click on the seller name. And the seller name comes up and it has an address. It had a name like Warehouse Discount. And it had an address. So then you open another tab. You click in, you take that address, you drag it and you paste it. And you click search on Google Maps. And where does Google Maps take you? To Rotor 3D in Utah. Because, for those of you unaware, if you go on the internet and you go to Amazon to buy an RC car part, and this is, again, Americentric. If you're here in America and you're shopping on Amazon, you can find a seller on Amazon called Rapid Warehousing. And you can buy parts from Rapid Warehousing. And you can find another seller on Amazon called, it's similar to Rapid Warehousing. It like has warehouse in the name. It'll come to me eventually. Rapid Warehousing is A-Main Hobbies. The other one is Go Nitro Hobbies, which is kind of the A-Main equivalent for the East Coast. And these are their storefronts to be able to sell stuff on sellers like Amazon, because most of the buyer contracts for retailers like that say you can't sell places like this. You can't do gray market selling. Just like all of the AliExpress. AliExpress is just 10,000 drop shippers is all it is. They're just people selling goods bought from their Sunset Retail. That's it. Sunset Retail is Go Nitro Hobbies. So once you get past that, so this was just a vendor that was selling under an assumed name so they could sell NOS, new old stock products, for invoice cost rather than them rot on a shelf until they don't work anymore. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. I don't even, I see someone said eBay auctions are where it's at. I do not even go to eBay anymore. eBay used to be amazing. You could find anything you wanted. eBay now is 95% companies with an eBay storefront selling the same stuff but marked up because they have to pay the eBay fees. When you can find something used, the prices are atrocious.
You still get charged tax.
And you still get charged tax to buy somebody's used item. Just spend the extra like $20. I sit and I try to think, when is the last time I bought something on eBay where I was like, man, I got a killer deal on this. I hear nothing but my buddy, the guy with the track at his house, got a VFD twin from a guy on Facebook Marketplace for $50. The only thing it was missing was the motor plate. Do you have any idea how many plastic motor plates I have in here? The answer is a lot. So I happily donated to him a plastic motor plate, despite the fact that I was enraged at the fact that he got a VFD twin for $50. Where's my $50 VFD twin? He also got a Phoenix with a body on it for $300. Like the full kit. With the twin, with the machine gears in the gearbox, the machine gears in the axle, the whole thing. I'm enraged about that as well. eBay is still good in the UK. I'm glad to hear that eBay is still good somewhere, because here it is, it's terrible. I loved eBay. I've been on eBay longer than I've been on YouTube. I think I joined eBay in like 99. And when I first started doing TC parts and other stuff like that, the only place I sold was eBay. And even way back then, so this would have been like 2005, 2006, that got me to buy my own website because the eBay fees were becoming crippling. So eBay as a buyer stayed good longer. When we were doing the Slash stuff, we were still buying pretty routinely off of eBay. A lot of takeout, part out houses were doing stuff through eBay. But yeah, you could buy rollers, full rollers on eBay, like $200. But now, the same thing that happened to me has happened to them. And those part out houses like Jenny's, like Dollar Hobbies, they just open their own storefronts and they sell stuff direct because the overhead is a lot less. Propping up eBay with your sales, and once they started really as a seller, once they started collecting sales tax on sales of, I don't want to get my musket and my don't tread on me flag. I'm selling you this on eBay. It is clearly used. This is a used tire. At one point, I bought this tire and I used it and I paid sales tax when I bought that tire. Now I want to sell it to you on eBay and you have to pay sales tax when you buy it. How does that work?
You in another state.
In another state.
California.
You live in Alabama, and I'm going to sell this to you used, and you have to pay sales tax on the used thing that you're buying from a person. And when they hit if you sell, what is it? Somebody who's more eBay active can tell you, if you do over $600 annually, they automatically report you to the IRS. I'm like, really? Really? It feels like betrayal. Sign in. I haven't been on eBay in so long. My phone doesn't remember my eBay password. That's how long. I haven't been on eBay in so long that my phone doesn't even remember my eBay password. Which means I definitely don't remember my eBay password. Luckily, my phone does remember my Google password. And Google does remember my eBay password. Oh, I know. You know what? I do remember that password. I thought that was my Sony PSN password. I've never bought from eBay. Wow. Are you liking the eBay app? See, here's the stuff on eBay. Are you liking the eBay app? Yes or no? I mean, I'm all for black and white with no shades of gray. Yes, sure. Yes. I didn't want to answer, though. I have to see. Okay, Bill Truitt said eBay member since 2000. What was your join date? We're gonna throw down. We're gonna throw down. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain. It has not dropped. I have not dropped frames or anything. It's being stupid. Okay, I want to see if Bill Truitt can beat me. Who's been on eBay longer? Got a nice set of used 8th scale alloy wheels off eBay in UK for €12 for £12. Put new tires in there, great on a rally car. So how do you feel about buying Red Cat on eBay? I feel like somebody's just trying to rile me up. Well, also, okay, to be completely honest, I don't think I've ever searched for Red Cat on eBay, so I can't say how I feel about it one way or the other. So there. Rudy, 10th September 2008. Oh, I got that by a lot. When did eBay start? Do I have to ask Siri? Hey Siri. When did eBay start?
eBay was founded September 3rd, 1995.
Wow, 95. I do love Red Cat. I do love it. Still using eBay, it's fine. It used to be great. It did. It was great. It really was. I sold 592 items on eBay. Apparently, it keeps track of that. I don't think. Geez, when was the when's the last time I even got a feedback on eBay? Can I even find that on mobile? You're all caught up. Started in the dial-up days. I remember Napster. I remember dialing up.
AOL discs.
AOL discs. Well, all of my unread messages on eBay are just we've updated our eBay's user agreement, like multiple over like the past 2 years. Purchases. Oh, no, okay. I'm full of crap. When I did the tire test in 2022 of the Hold, the Hunk, and the Hold, I bought them on eBay.
Probably the only ones in stock.
They were probably the only people that had them, and I bought them from Horizon Hobby. I bought my Hunks and Holds from Horizon in 2022. And I also bought this I do remember. It's all coming back. When I converted my TRX4, when Jolly Green got turned into a TRX6, the only place that had TRA 8830 was eBay. A seller on eBay was the only place, and that's basically the bracket where the middle suspension members attached to for the rear axle. So you've got the front links attached. Well, okay. It's almost like he doesn't have any visual aids to explain what he's talking about. So there's this big bracket up here that these links attach to. That is TRA 8830. That is the only place I could find it. I looked the entire internet wide to find that bracket right there, and the only place to get it was eBay. Who was it on eBay? Trumpet One. It cost $9. I spent $9 on it. But I thought that I wasn't going to be able to build this as a 6x because I couldn't find that part anywhere. There are only a couple of parts that are unique to a TRX6, and that is definitely one of them. Horizon Hobby eBay sometimes gets free shipping on small items. Yeah. Ah! Yeah, there are advantages. Oh, Jolly Green has different tires on. I know guys that buy on Amazon, AliExpress, and sell on eBay. Yeah. So my wife, I've mentioned, my wife has some sort of a holiday addiction. I don't know what you call a holiday addiction, but I had to build a shed to hold the bins that hold the holiday stuff in it. So Costco has started to have these Disney things. It started with Halloween. There's a Disney haunted house and a Disney like haunted ship. And then there was like a Christmas one where it looks like there's like a Disney house with snow on it and there's Disney characters around it. They had it at Costco and it was there for 5 minutes and it was gone. Because at Costco it was selling for like $129. People would go down, buy as many as they could, and sell them on eBay for $200 a pop. Which is, let me get it right. Let me get my accusation correct. Is that scalping? Is that profiteering? That's profiteering, right? I feel like that thing is a bus. Yeah, he's a long boy. He's not a short boy. Yeah. The practice of making or seeking to make an excessive or unfair profit, especially illegally or in a black market. Yeah. If you go and buy something at Costco for $100 and put it on eBay for $200, that is profiteering. I don't care if they say, well, they don't have a membership. No. I saw it because I had to wait 2.5 years to get a PlayStation 5 because people were selling for $1,000 on the internet. And I said, I'll pay all the way up to $399, which is what I paid for my PlayStation 5. Because eventually they showed up at Best Buy and I got one. Ordering from eBay and having it show up in an Amazon box was or is a thing. Yeah, I believe it. Now, if you get anything sent from me, there's a 50% chance, higher than 50% chance that it's coming in an Amazon box. Because I get a lot of Amazon boxes and I don't throw them away. I hoard them. I will hoard boxes. 100% markup is just greedy. Yeah, it's profiteering. I called back. Who here remembers Ultimate RC, which was like my favorite RC forum ever, and then he just decided that he didn't want to do it anymore and it stopped being a thing. So in the Ultimate RC days, there were companies going out of business even at that time. And Venom was going under, and Venom had a pin tire for buggies called 45s. And on the Venom website, they were blowing them out. What was it, $5 a pair? They were blowing out Venom 45s for $5 a pair. And we bought a couple pairs because $5 a pair. Within that week, a guy showed up in the for sale forum and was selling Venom 45s for $20 a pair. And I immediately posted in the comments that, which is against, you're not allowed to like hack on somebody's price. You're not supposed to do that. That's like in the forum rules. I was like, you can't do that, dude. They're still available on Venom for $5 a pair. So you not only are you profiteering, but you're capitalizing on people that are thinking, oh man, $20 is pretty good. They don't know Venom is going out of business and that they can go and buy those tires for $5 a pair. So that's just messed up. And that guy was not happy. He didn't like that. I was yucking his yum. But I am of a different type where I would rather just give it away. You know, I don't want to go through the problem. I don't want to have to go the rigmarole. There's a gentleman in the far-off land of Michigan who has filled a box full of treats, and he is sending them here and right over here. I'll show you the back of it. Oh, this is pertinent and relevant. Here is the back of the box. This box is going to Michigan. Look what he's getting. You know it's Amazon Prime. It's all Amazon Prime box. It perfectly fit. It's got his address and his name on the other side, so let's not dox him in the live stream. That is going the other way to Michigan. He's sending me a bunch of stuff. I'm sending him a bunch of stuff. Isn't this wonderful? No cash trades hands. Screw the government, because they would want to charge sales tax on all the stuff that's in this box. All of the used things in this box that I already paid for. So I give him that stuff. He gives me the other stuff. Isn't the world a great place when you make it a great place to be? The Hot Wheelie going the whole scalper thing right now. Ugh. Gross. I won't go back to console gaming. Steam on a PC with a console controller is the way to go. Disagree! You want to know why? My gaming days are behind me. Those are done now. I will never play PvP again because I don't have the reaction time for it anymore. And if I do devote time in a day to playing a video game, I do it for relaxation. I do it to bring my voice down to this level and this timbre right here. I like to be right about here. I want to sit down and play Minecraft. Or if I feel particularly self-destructive, I'll play Remnant for a while, which is a Souls-like game. It's fun, but I can take it in very small doses. And here's why the console will never die. In my house are 2 gaming PCs. My one child plays what I call the baby game, which is Valorant. I call it the baby game. My other child is playing one end of the spectrum or the other. He's either playing some impossible game like Elden Ring, or he's playing Roblox. I can't understand it or explain it. I like to sit down and play some Ratchet and Clank. And here's why consoles will never die. I can go in the house, decide that I feel like playing a game. I will turn the game on. There might be a day where I'll play for 20 minutes. Tinker around on whatever, suspend the game, turn the console off, set my controller on the thing. I never have to worry about what updates are going to happen because PlayStation is going to take care of it itself. It's just going to update them. I owned 2 PlayStation 1s, 3 PlayStation 2s, 2 PlayStation 3s, 2 PlayStation 4s, and I'm on a PlayStation 5. I'm a PlayStation guy, but you have to think the PlayStation 1 came out in, what, 97? So in 27 years, those are the consoles. Yeah, sure, I had a Nintendo 64 and an the original brick Xbox and a Wii, and we've gone through them all, but the PlayStation is the only one that carries on. And I genuinely, and I can say this as genuinely, I have no motivation to build myself a gaming PC. I know it's more cost effective. I know that it's probably more capable in the long run. Do you know how many times I have to help those kids with some dumb thing that has gone wrong with their dumb PC? All the time. All the time. You know what that PlayStation does? Never gives me a problem. Ever. That PS5 has crashed on me 2 times. I got it on Father's Day last year, and it has crashed 2 times. It's great. I love it. I love it. It's perfect. It's hidden under the desk. It's connected to my, I do a tap, button, and I change monitor 2 into my PlayStation. I still have my other monitor over here, and my email is still on monitor 3. I can do all my computer stuff. I can be on my Discord, and I'm playing Minecraft while watching a movie, or I'm playing Remnant or Horizon Zero Dawn. Yes, to answer the question, I have played Portal and Portal 2, which I think I remember someone pointing out that those weren't games. They were like technological showcases is what Portal was, because they were really showing what could be done with physics engines. Portal games are great. Are you still there? Just great. Like great. Portal were great games. Skyrim 30 minutes a day. That's the way to do it. You play too much games, it will give you a headache. It will make you sad. Yeah. I like to, well, basically at my age, have you noticed the typical amount of time that I can perform a live stream? The typicals are right there in that 3.5 hour. That's what my brain can withstand. With video games, it's about the same thing. About 3.5 hours, and then I got to tap out. With some games, if the lights are too bright or if the motion is too flashy, even less. Minecraft, I can do a little longer because there's no pace to Minecraft. My last 3 consoles all died on me, and I declared I was done. I typically get about 7 to 10 years out of a PC. I still have a functioning PlayStation 3 that we use to play DVDs. So, I mean, and Blu-rays, because we do still have a house full of physical media. I have never in my life had a console die, and I'm gonna throw somebody under the bus here. The kid in Michigan can't claim the same thing. Last I heard, he knocked his Xbox off the end of a counter. He has my PlayStation 4 now. Functional or not, well, it might be functional, it might not be. I don't remember. But my PlayStation, when I got my 5, my 4 went to the mythical land of Michigan, where I imagine it still lives now. I don't know. I didn't keep up on it. We don't correspond. Oh, the Dreamcast. There's a callback. I gave away all my gaming consoles. Yeah. My gaming PC is great. It gets its usual updates when needed and never gives me issues, thankfully. Here's the thing. PCs are just expensive headaches. Me and Neil Daniels, we're on the same page. And here's oh, my kids are into Destiny. I don't understand it. Mr. Truitt, I don't get it either. A buddy of mine, we picked up Destiny, the first one. It went on blowout sale really fast, and we both got it for like $19.99, and we played Destiny because there was nothing else out at the time. This was the year where Borderlands 3 was coming out in the fall, like September or October. So during the summer, we were playing Destiny, and we both agreed that Destiny was like Borderlands with all the fun, soul, and personality sucked out of it. Like the way they did the raids, where you had to have other people. Oh my god, it wasn't. It's not that it just wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. It just wasn't. Yet we played it for like 50 hours because there was literally nothing else. It was all we had to do. The summers here are hot. He rides a dirt bike now all the time, so I don't get to play video games with that guy at all. It's depressing. Neil Daniels has been playing Destiny for 10 years. That is either impressive or an almost certain indication of a mental illness. I don't know. I don't know how you can do that. The only game that I've been playing continuously for an extended period of time is Minecraft. I can't say the Borderlands series. I've been playing them since the first one. I've played every Borderlands game. But every Borderlands game follows thematically, but the game mechanics always change. I've never been playing it like there's a guy out there that's been playing World of Warcraft since it came out, which is wild. There are guys with 20-year-old WoW accounts, which is absolutely wild. So I can never play World of Warcraft. It could never happen. It's been too long. I'm not going to start into a game that people have 20 years invested into. Like, it's too late for me. So we'll stick to toy cars. Fallout is good, but Fallout is kind of... the most accurate thing I've ever heard is somebody said that Fallout is just Skyrim with guns. And it really is. That's all Fallout is, which is why I'm a Fallout guy, not a Skyrim guy. I've played this much Skyrim, and there's a hand here and a hand here. This much Fallout. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into Fallout. Yeah, the thing that Lee Jordan above said has a PS2, a PS3, a Wii, and a Nintendo 64. I have all those things except the 2. I gave my 2 away. I figured I wasn't going to play it anymore. Yeah, there will be stretches where I don't play video games for months. And I think that might be one of the most healthy things I have going for me in my life today. Because I know I never feel, and it applies to this as well, because there are mornings. This week, y'all know Wayland Wednesday and filmed on Wednesdays, right? I have to edit it. It's filmed the day before. We air it on Wednesday. And if you live in Spain, you don't get to see it until Thursday. So it's Wheelin' Thursday for you. This Wednesday, as I said, it was 109 degrees. I didn't feel like coming out here and wrenching. I didn't feel like doing a lot of things. So I played Minecraft on screen one while I watched YouTube videos. I watched Yogscast videos on the other one. And then in the afternoon, I built this delightful Lego crafting table. The Minecraft theme continued while I watched 6 episodes of Tulsa King. So if there was a day, it happened with the bikes. It happened with a lot of things. If I feel compelled to do something, my brain has switched to the point where I actively fight against it. Like I will actively try not to do it. Because it's when it gets to compulsion, that's how you can kill the joy. You can just kill the joy right out of something. That's what's happened. That's what happened to cycling with me. And I'm hoping that it doesn't happen with this. And I don't think it will. Because most days, like when I got... Is he still on 2? When I got that guy to the condition that he is now, which was yesterday, I was having a great time. Even though I spent a lot of time fiddling over getting this part to fit here and that part to fit there, sometimes that's the best part of it. Ben Webby hasn't asked about it. He's been very good about it because I did threaten him that if he asks about the Jeep, I'm not going to work on it again. I haven't worked on the Jeep because I haven't felt that I haven't, and that's not tickling I haven't felt the drive to cut rails and build that chassis yet. But the day I do, we're going full bore in. I'm going full bore in, and we're going to build that thing, and I'm going to throw rift axles on it. Did I show you? Maybe I did, or maybe I didn't. Did I show all of y'all that I bought a Lenski? Because I was trying to figure out how to copy the rails. How was I going to do the rails underneath? Where is he? He's over here. And then I was like, you gotta get the woodworking stuff, and then you can copy the shape. Oh, it's locked. You can. That's not where that thing's falling apart. You can copy the shape, and then you just trace it onto the piece that you're gonna make your piece out of, and then you make that piece. Because otherwise, it's cut and fail and cut and fail and cut and fail. And I have not yet, in all of the pieces that I have tried to make, I have never had to make a rails that fit precisely under something like this. It's a whole lot easier to put rails under a Lexan body because you have all the space in the world. I have no space in the world. And I want to get my shock towers all the way up in there so that I can run a decent length shock. And I want my shock towers, even if I have to trim these fenders out, I want my shock towers. Where's his shovel? I want my shock towers all the way up because I want to build, and I am for certain, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I never noticed how that's not going to hack. We're going to have to cut this back and move this in. The rear one is not going back on. Yeah, because I'm all but convinced that I'm going to paint this thing non-military. It'll be a non-military paint job on it. That tire's going to have to come off. The whole deal. It's getting 2.2 tusks. JP Wirt sent me a file to 3D print a 2.2 tusk, but I have to figure out how so that I can make spare tires that don't weigh anything. But I have to figure out how the settings work because when I put it into my slicer, the first thing that the slicer told me is it was going to take 21 hours. I think the quality's too hard to print a fake tire if it's going to take 21 hours to print it. The oldest one is I have an OG Game Boy and a Game Boy Color. I have the one that flips open, whichever Game Boy that is. It has a Tetris cartridge in it. I've played so many hours of Tetris. The big old PlayStation 2, 3, 4, Dreamcast, GameCube. Okay, he's definitely got more than me. Many a time on a Century ride, I had to remind myself that I was having fun. Driver 8, man. You and me and Neil Daniels are forming like a powerful triangle of understanding things. Because yes, many a time I did have to. And the thing is, because sometimes I wasn't having a good time. Sometimes the rides, I didn't remember. Like, it was so good. Like, I have nothing but fond memories about the day of riding 156 miles in one day. That was a great ride. I had a good time. I ate gelato twice and a fantastic chicken sandwich. It was a great day. I really enjoyed being on the bike. I had a destination. I felt like I was riding with a purpose. I got some gnarly leg cramps climbing a hill. It was still fantastic. But there were other rides that were not as great. And not every day of messing with toy cars out there is great either. But not a sore the next morning. So there's a plus there. Crowd we are in the forest doing night crawling now, 10:45 p.m. in Scotland. Night crawling, I mean, Proline by the Fire hooked me a little bit. I have all of the stuff outside in a box. I think I mentioned it. Did I mention it? Oh my God, was it last week? Has that stuff been sitting in a box for a week? I make no apologies. I think I bought the stuff to put out the trail course that's going to be out there. I got little things with little metal tags to hang the gates. I got little green flags. I got all this stuff. I got UV proof markers. I got all this stuff to lay out this trail course out there because The night courses, I basically didn't want to drive during the day at Proline. It was definitely more fun to do it at night. And also more fun if there's at least one other person to do it with. Driving at night by yourself feels like the start to a horror movie. Like that's how you get eaten by a wolfen. So I don't know. I got to figure out somebody. I got a cameraman. So 1 day a week. So that's something. We're definitely making progress. I am definitely hoping I don't get bored of little trucks. Got to be in the mood to do crap. Don't be surprised if there isn't a wood burning up here that says you got to be in the mood to do crap is going to show up here. I was wondering if we are going to see Willie anytime soon. Yeah, it's over there. Yeah, there it is. What's happening with the military build? Yeah, the Game Boy Advance SP. Yeah. Could possibly replace that Willie's bumper with the G-Made Sawback one. Or just any bumper, really. I might just completely ditch that bumper altogether because these are the combos. This is what's going on those rims. Is 2 tusks, LP tusks, crawler innovations in there. They should be great on just. I want it all silvered out on scale hardware because for the body I'm thinking like a gray, like maybe like an Air Force gray, like a light gray, a Corsa gray, some kind of gray for it because there's this memory I have in mind of seeing one of the German ones and that's kind of what it looked like. Deadline needs gates. I think Deadline works without gates. I think Deadline needs to stay where it is. Because we already have 5 gated courses, soon to be 6, and I'm hoping that I can build the markers to hold the golf balls before the paint marks for course 5, before the blue course, before the weather wears the paint marks off. Because we use Lolo to lay out that course like, oh God, spring? Was that in the spring? I feel like that was in the spring, and I still have. You gotta be in the mood to do crap. And I haven't been in the mood to do that crap. I bought the magnets. I have the golf balls. I have the wood. I have everything, including the paint. I have everything to make those markers, and I just haven't done it yet. We need a wave from the camera assistant. The camera assistant, I guarantee you, is okay. I'm going to tell the camera assistant that next week they have to wave to the camera. Because I guarantee you they're inside the house right now playing baby games.
They have to put their hands in front of the camera.
Yeah. I've never owned any gaming setup. Oh, well, don't forget, Bonita Creek is like 12, 14, 16, 18, 17? They're a number in the teens, so older than 12, but younger than 20. They're between 12 and 20. I don't know if I would have had a gaming setup then either. I mean, my kids did. They went through Game Boy Advances. What was the Game Boy? What was the Game Boy that got rectangular and you could get them in all different colors? DS. They had DSs. And then moved on to the Wii and now on to gaming PCs. Do you use Wiley anymore? No. As was pointed out a couple comments down, Wiley now lives in Oklahoma where the something blows. And I don't remember it. I used to do a yearly lecture to uni near me on gaming and gaming history since I used to work in games. I was shocked when a 19 to 20-year-old students had never played games. Oof. Yeah, Bonita Creek is 18, which is crazy. That's crazy. That's younger than my kids. That's not what. Okay. Brorb will know him for sure. The guy from Pirate Software, Thor, where Thor talks about they were at some sort of gaming convention and they had two setups set up, one with a mouse and keyboard and one with the platform, like a console with the controller. And they go all day. Nobody would play, like one or two people would touch the mouse and keyboard side. Everybody would just go over and pick up the controller. And so on the second or third day, they took out the mouse and keyboard and put up two with controllers. And he said a couple times a day, a kid would come up to the screen and just touch the screen. And he said, do you want to feel old? Do you have to realize that some of these kids don't know what a controller is? Because every game they've ever played, they just touch the screen. He's all, we're all dinosaurs, man. It's true. Mouse and keyboard. How much longer is mouse and keyboard? Like, I mean, my kids are on mouse and keyboard because they're PC gamers. So they've got some more years. But VR, keeping on that come up where you're just flailing around in an empty room.
Hunter's always on the VR.
I have no desire to flail around in an empty room. I'm doing it now. But this room is full, so I can flail around in a full room. Like Scotty talking to the mouse. Yes. 100%. And to me, that's insane to me now. That how can kid now like me, it's too late. It's too late. I can't, if you've seen the video, okay, on the 1080 G2, it has real reverse where you have to like press a button and then this is reverse. So this is forward, then you push this button and now that's reverse. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. Do you have any idea how many years I've been doing this? There's no way. I cannot play a video game if it doesn't have invert Y, to where you pull up to look up, like an airplane, pull up to go up. No kid, sound off, pushing forward to go up is insane to me. I can't do it. I downloaded a free game off the PlayStation library where you were just smashing stuff with a hammer. It was called like Demolition or Destruction or something. It didn't have invert Y in the options. So I couldn't make pull back to look up. I can't play that game. I can't be rewired. So me with a mouse and keyboard is very nearly, for a very limited time way back in the olden days, you used to be able to get a skateboard-shaped controller to play Tony Hawk Pro Skater. And I was like, what kind of a lunatic is buying this? I play Tony Hawk Pro Skater because I can't skateboard. Don't put me on a skateboard and try to make me play Tony Hawk Pro Skater. That's me with a mouse and keyboard. I can do it, but I'm going to be way better. I've been doing this for so long. My first console was an Intellivision it had to be the 1970s. When did the Intellivision come out? 70s, 80s? Late 70s, early 80s? Whenever the Intellivision came out, I had one of those. The guy down the street had an Atari 5200, and it seemed like a supercomputer. It seemed like future tech. And yet, here we are now. Yeah, I played a lot of flying games, so always inverted. Yeah, I've flown RC planes my whole life. I don't know how you could fly on mode 1. Yeah. And the thing is, I didn't start off playing a lot of flying games. There's just no way I can push forward to go up. But by the same token, I couldn't. There's an option in every game to invert the x-axis. What? Push right to go left. Push left. Oh. What? Yeah. Push right to go left. Push left to go right. I can't counter steer my way through life either. Mr. Paul has still got an Atari VCS 2600. I remember when a video game controller had just one button. And now I'm sitting there with a DualShock 5 in my hand that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then these. And then sometimes they have hold this down to bring up a contextual menu, or hold this down to bring up a contextual menu. Grand Theft Auto 5 is a great one. There's so many things that you don't have enough controls to do it all, to where the point where it goes right past intuitivity, Remember computer space? Like space on your computer? invert invert X and interrobang after it. Invert X. I definitely remember Pong. Maybe so you can play with the controller upside down. I guess. I remember Pitfall on Atari. Oh yeah, don't forget tilt axis, which is like the first thing I turn off. The positions that I might, okay, I'm talking to you now, and you're seeing in the screen. So this would be like if we switched to the other camera, and you'd be saying, there are times, here's how I'm driving as I'm talking in the video. Here's how I'm driving. It's sitting in my lap while I'm driving. Sometimes it's sitting in my lap and I'm driving like this. I treat DualShock and PlayStation controllers the same way. Whatever I feel comfortable in that moment. So the brother is going to have to do as a stand-in. So this is about the size of a DualShock 5. So sometimes I'm sitting in it and I kind of have it turned over so the blue light is blasting in my face. And I'm just kind of playing like this, like particularly with Minecraft. Sometimes I have it hanging down like that. I don't like any sort of additive function that makes it to where I have to hold things in a very specific way. I just want to hold it how I want to hold it, man. Put that on my tombstone. In the mid-'80s, I had an acoustic coupler for my rotary phone to dial into BBS chat with my friends across town. We played remote D&D. Heck yeah. Where the handset went into the thing. Yes, yes. Texting with the number pad. Yes. 111 if you needed a C. Futaba dual stick transmitter for my Tamiya Blackfoot and mechanical speed controller. Mr. Simmons, here's the thing. I got past that. The reason I rode nothing during my childhood, adolescence, teen years, up until I got a car, was I would only ride. I had a what they would call a dirt jumper bike, which is basically a BMX bike, but it has 24-inch wheels because I got really tall and gangly that point, so I needed a bigger bike. But it had one handbrake, no speeds, no gears, no nothing. I waited for STIs to come in integrated, so this is brake, this is shift. I waited for that to come in. In video games, I mean, in RC cars, my very first controller was a Futaba Magnum Sport with the wheel and the thing, which was either the first or I think it was the second pistol grip radio that Futaba had made. I have never driven a remote-controlled vehicle with dual sticks. I know a lot of the four-wheel steer guys, the comp guys, are starting to get into dual sticks, and places like Hot RC make controllers that look like an Xbox controller to drive a rig. I want to try it, but I don't know if I can do it. You know what? I'm going to look it up on Amazon right now. If they have one on Amazon, stick radio controller. That's a terrible search. Okay, those are big ones. Okay,
Console.
I need that. There's the one. Wait, did somebody tell me that the Radiolink T8S is a controller that would make you want to throw it into a volcano? Somebody remind me, because I would be tempted to just order that one, and then we'll do it in the live stream. I'm not kidding. We'll do the whole thing. We'll do me trying to set it up to try to make it work. It'll be hilarious. Do we really need the touchpad in the middle? I have seen one game that actually used the touchpad for something, like correctly. And I can't even remember. It might have been Horizon. I can't remember what game it was offhand. But the touchpad is basically wasted. Most times they just use it as a button to open a menu. So they're just using it as an extra button. I like trucks, but racing called me, so I went with a TQ10. My gaming computer, full-blown gaming computer there. Let me see. ROG Maximus, 14900K, G-Skill Tridents. I'm looking for the graphics card. Super 4080, that's all you need to see. Somebody spent a lot of money. My daughter asked me how is it comfortable holding the controller like that. Ever used a ZX Spectrum? I remember seeing it like in the Radio Shack, but I never actually touched one. My cousin learned to play upside down because of how the controller was handed to him. He could only play that way for years. So that dude's inverting X. My uncle waited in line for like 6 hours on Black Friday and got one of those retro original Nintendo systems. When the PlayStation 2 came out, I waited in line in the dark outside the Inland Center Mall in a line of about 250 people because we had pre-purchased these little tokens so that you could get a PlayStation 2 when the PlayStation 2 launched. And about 2 hours into the line, somebody came out and said, "We only got this many." And people started to be like, "Ah, grumble, grumble, grumble." And by the time I got up there and got mine, those shelves were empty. Maybe 10 people after me got a PlayStation. Some people went home real sad that night. Now, all you have to do is wait 2 years, and then you can buy a PlayStation 5. Completely ambidextrous with the mouse over here. Dumb hand, smart hand. So, I swore that I remembered somebody saying that there's a dual stick radio that is frustrating to no end. I hope it's not the Radiolink T8S. It's got decent reviews. Only 2 years, Billy Watson. Only 2 years. I always thought it was crazy to see people literally camping in line for the Black Friday sales. So, what I would do is every Thanksgiving for about 6 years, one of my favorite bicycle rides I would do annually is Thanksgiving morning. I would get up because I didn't have to cook anything. I would get up and I would ride my bike down to the Inland Center Mall in San Bernardino, California. And I would ride my bike in a Formula One style circuit around the mall. And I would try to see if I could get my fastest lap around the mall. Because on Thanksgiving, not only is the mall closed, but they would put the chains up over the entry so cars couldn't even get into the mall parking lot. The only cars in the mall parking lot was the guy in the mall security car driving around. And when he would see me riding by, he'd be like, "Yeah, get him!" And I'd be zooming by in the mall parking lot. The mall parking lot has capped asphalt, so it's that perfect, no bumps, no ridges, smooth black tarmac, baby. Just no worries about getting flat tires because the roads get driven on all the time. Beautiful. Did it every year. As the years went on, you would notice cars are now appearing in the parking lots because the people are lining up at noon on Thanksgiving for Black Friday. It's gone too far. It's gone too far. I've gotten maybe 2 decent purchases on a Black Friday ever. My first ever flat screen TV was purchased from the Circuit City on a Black Friday where you had to go in person, and I went in and it was a 32-inch flat screen TV that was about this thick. And I said to the guy, "Do you have any more of the 32-inch?" And he goes, "No, you had to be here at like 4 a.m. to get one of those." And I was and I rooked him. I had my kid, and my kid was like 1 at the time, so I'm holding a baby. And the guy was like, "You know what? Let me go check." And somebody had dropped their coupon, and he gave me a coupon, and I got a TV for it. That will be forever be my fondest Black Friday memory. I have zero expectations of Black Friday now. My only other one is I got the air nozzle that I use on my compressor still to this day, which was probably $3 off for Black Friday, but I never would have thought to buy it if it wasn't coming up in Amazon Lightning deals. And I still love that thing. Those are my only 2 Black Friday purchases basically in my life. I'm not the guy camping out outside the JCPenney to get money off of something. I don't care. It's money versus time. Time is money and money is time. I like the red FlySky radio that looks like an Xbox or PS controller. Yeah. Are you sure it's a FlySky? Because, is it all red? Because the radio link that I'm looking at is black and red. Now, I thought I saw another one. I thought there was like a I thought there was like a $30 one. This one's $50, which I'm not mad about. It would be fun just to have here and put on a rig to see if people can try it. Just hand the controller to people and be like, try this. I do still play a lot of video games, so dual stick, I might be able to do it. And Radio Link has one that looks just like basically like kind of like an Xbox controller. I keep seeing OpenTX ones, and I'm like, I don't want to get frustrated into not using it. All right, if I open the page on the Radio Link, maybe it'll give me customers also bought. Did I scroll too far? Have I scrolled too far? No, there it is. BMFRC, what's a JC Penney? Oh, I oughta. Okay, Organized Chaos says it's all red. Okay, so, 2. So this is the Radio Link. I mean, I think form factor wise, I think I can swing it. And more. Mode 2 for left hand, so you can reverse everything. I don't know how I feel about that. But Fly Sky EL18. Okay. Dual stick self-center. Left stick not self-center. Oh! Okay. So would you I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Which one would you want? To anybody that's done dual stick, would you want both sticks to center, or would you want one stick not to center? Ooh, I do like the look of some of these, though. I just don't know if they're all ground protocols. I know that Radio Link one will work. That's the same receiver I use.
Well, if you put the non-centering stick on throttle, you can just have full cruise control all the time.
Yeah. But is that good? Wouldn't you want throttle? I mean, throttle automatically returns to center. Steering also returns to center.
Do you want
so
steering to
okay, both sticks to center.
be...
Both center. Okay. 3 people in a row just said both.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like it's like trying to explain what Montgomery Wards is. The Fly Sky is like 8 channels. So the Radio Link is also 8 channels. Here's how the Radio Link is almost getting me. It's a Radio Link. Only weighs 5 ounces. You can set it up with an app. Suitable for RC car, RC robot, multi-rotor, and airplane. Okay, so I'm going to add that to the cart so I don't lose it. Ooh, 10% off. That means it's only $50. Do I want to add protection to that? No, I drop these radios all the time. They just keep going. Okay, Fly Sky. EL18, Fly Sky. EL18. You're just messing with me now. I see how it is. Well, the Fly Sky PL18 Paladin is $660. So maybe I haven't gotten to the Fly Sky EL18. Maybe it's not on Amazon. $650 is a little steep. FST8, the IC6, the Paladin EV, the Radiomaster TX16. Yeah, the deal no deal is if it's available on Amazon. Because if it's an AliExpress thing, I can't be bothered. Oh, no centering is for aircraft. Got it. One-handed steering is fun if you dedicate one stick to control throttle and steering. No, thank you. That sounds terrible. Yeah, Amazon is not going to help us with the Fly Sky EL18. Yeah, we still Sputter Crawler. We still have a J.C. Penney here as well. So is this one called the EL18? Yeah. Yeah, the all red Fly Sky EL18 with the huge screen in the middle is that one's only $259. But they have a $700 one as well. $50. You get yourself a deal. I'll give it a try. Now what we're going to have to do is somebody remind me to put it in the to put up a poll, just to write in a comment. What vehicle? What should we try to control with a dual stick controller? Or am I going to have to build something? I can build something. We can build something. We can build something with a dual stick. The dual stick might be perfect for when we get past. It came from the Workbench 50. Because I still have Traxxas tracks here, and I have 2 front axles with servo and axle mounts for TRX4. We're going to build something wild.
That would be good for.
We're going to build something wild. Sears and Monkey Wards. Something rear steer, of course. Something with 4-wheel steer. I do have plans for another 4-wheel steer. I just haven't decided what I want to do for axles for it. Should be the Trax build. Yeah, it seems right, doesn't it? Because the Trax build is going to be 4-wheel steer. And removing tracks takes like 10 minutes. So it can also be run without tracks. What do you think of the dual motor trans that has 2 transmissions in one? I want to build one with 2 380s in it. My Cat excavator has a 12-channel radio with 2 sticks, both auto center and a bunch of switches. Yeah, I am definitely gonna try that Radio Link one. Just for the if nothing else, for the comedy of it. So what I will take this moment to do is say I had to get ahead on content again. I've already filmed Monday and Tuesday because I'm going to Not Scary Farm on Sunday. And I'm forcing my children to go with me. So it'll be a good time. Good times will be had by some. It all depends on how crowded it is this year. So we're going to do that. And then in November, I get to go to Tiny Anime Expo. What? Why? But why? November 9th, I have to go to Anime Expo Chibi. I thought I was done. So... yeah, my tanks use dual sticks, so Trax would be like a tank. Boom. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that. I've got stuff coming up. You saw that one guy, so you know that one guy is coming. I've got some stuff that's still not filmed yet. I got a couple tire reviews coming up. Yes, indeed, Bonita Creek. Knott's Berry Farm, or AKA, at this time of year, Knott's Scary Farm. Yeah. We have 2 choices here in Southern California. If you want to go to mazes that would scare you if that part of your soul was still alive, mine is dead. You have Knott's Scary Farm, and you have the Universal's Halloween Haunt, or whatever they're calling it. Let me put it to you this way to express it in California terms. 4 people plus parking to Knott's Scary Farm costs less than 2 people to go to Halloween Haunt. Not Scary Farm it is. Snott's Berry Farm. I have a special dislike for anime. Wow. That's tough. The old Tamiya 3-speed Hilux came with a little shift gate to fit over one of the sticks on controllers. Neat! Neat. One of these years I want to do the zombie paintball hayride for Halloween. That'd be fun. God, I haven't shot a paintball gun in forever. I am old now. And I cannot move fast. I lumber.
You didn't move fast when you played.
Huh?
I said you really didn't move when you played.
Yeah, I wasn't fast then either. I got that going for me. I wasn't fast then. I'm just less fast now. So we're coming up on our frame count. We did pretty good on the no drops. We did pretty good on, you know what we did pretty good on? We did pretty good on busting through a live stream without doing anything. I centered and installed a servo. And you know what? This is a near perfect Friday. And it's gonna become perfect because I saw on the motion of my Ring camera that my wife is home from work. And we are going to go to the coffee clutch, and I'm going to get myself a patio special coffee drink, and I am going to enjoy the hell out of it because they are amazing. So we'll that view and that view are that view and that view are very close together. Are you going to twin script? Nah. Yeah, I enjoyed Scary Farm watching others get scared and scream. Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I like watching other people get afraid.
Well, if you're a man, they don't come after you.
Yeah, and that's true. I am say hi to your friend on the chair to your left. Shut up over there.
Never.
So, yeah, I am taller than average and larger than average, so they don't make efforts to scare me. Sometimes they go for the like, huh. And it is not effective. My wife snuck up on me in here one day and did the imagine you are here. And she did the, yeah, like that, the yee in the sides. And I didn't react at all. And she goes, did you see me coming? And I go, no, I'm dead inside. I jumped from an Instagram reel. I sent it to the guy in Michigan and he told me it made him drop his phone. I knew it was coming and it still got me. It made me jump and it made me so happy that I jumped because I thought maybe I'm not completely dead yet. Maybe I'm not completely dead. They still let the zombies run around. Yeah, they still have sliders. They still do chainsaws too. Bladeless chainsaws. Yeah, they got the sliders running around. Yeah, that's the Not Spirit Farm claim to fame. We went year before last, and it was still pretty good. It was pretty good. And you can go to where the beer garden is, and you can get chili cheese fries. I know I've told you this story before, but we're going to close on this one. A person that looks as disinterested in doing a job as anyone you've ever seen in your life. And they work at a theme park, which tells you that everything has a dark side. They take one of those little, you can imagine it because you've all seen one. It's like a little paper boat, right? It's usually red and white checkerboarded. It's about this big. They take that thing. They take a scoop. They dump a scoop of fries in it. They switch it to their other hand. They go over to a machine. This machine has 2 nozzles and 2 buttons. Above one of the nozzles is marked the word chili. They hold it under there. They push the button, and it really... The only active way to say it is it poops cheese. It poops chili onto your french fries. It pours out of a nozzle. And then they move it to the side and they push the other button that says cheese. And then it poops cheese on it. Liquid chili, liquid cheese. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, latimals and granimals. When you get home, it might be that evening. It might be the next morning. It might be the following afternoon. You turn into that machine. You make liquid chili and cheese. It all comes out. Not probably intended for human consumption, but it's 11:30 on a Sunday night, and you wish that you were asleep. It tastes real good. It revenges on you. How much more American can you get? You can't. If you want to scare someone, creep up behind them and stroke their hair. Freaks them right out, especially if they don't know you. A buddy of mine, I told a buddy of mine about, I had heard a comedian. I apologize for not remembering what comedian did it. The rapper Prof also put it into a song. It's a bar in one of his songs. I told a buddy of mine who will do anything to get a laugh, or his favorite thing to do is to get people to say, "What is wrong with you?" He will go up behind someone at work, and I need something to represent 2 heads. here is the head of his coworker, and he comes up and he slides his head in right here like this. And he gets right up next to him, real close to where their ears are almost touching. And he goes, I don't know if you'll be able to hear my nose noises. He goes, he inhales real deep, and then he exhales. And then he just whispers into their ear, you smell different when you're awake. And if you want to make somebody uncomfortable, that's how you do it. You just give a nice big inhale and you say, you smell different when you're awake. Try it at work. It'll be fun. You know what, everybody? Thank you so much for watching. Charles Hurley has shown up just in time. Within the final minute of closing this down, I have been somewhat silently putting tools away in the background for the last couple of minutes because I like the bench to be at least somewhat as clean as it was when we started. You know what has not died in me? The notion that we're going to get an outdoor live stream at some point. The day that my Wi-Fi mesh go on sale again at Costco, I'm buying 3 more and we're just Wi-Fi in the yard. Although, I mean, do we think we could run the laptop? If I'm getting 400 megabit 5G out here, we could just tether this thing to my phone and we could live stream from outside. We're going to get a nice outdoor live stream, but it's currently about 106 degrees outside, so it's not going to be today. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us here at the Can. You know what we got done today? The best thing to do on a Friday afternoon, nothing. Get nothing done. Drink coffee drinks. Thanks so much, everybody. Tune in for whatever we've got coming up on the weekend. I'd love to tell you what they are. That guy over there, where is he? One more shot on camera, too. That guy over there, he's coming up on Sunday. So if you're looking forward to that, that's on Sunday. You'll see him, and then other things in between and after. I look forward to seeing you in between, before, and after. You know what we didn't do at the beginning of this because Mr. Spain wasn't here to remind us? We'll get the full vibra motion centered up. Centered up. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to click the button. But before we click that button, we're going to do one of these right here. Y'all have a good one, everybody.